you're cruising on a motorcycle through another dimension and time. A dimension not only of beer and rock and roll, but of twisted minds and sexy women. A wild journey of crazy imagination that has no boundaries. There's a warning, a sign up ahead. Your next stop. The Zig Zone. The Zig Zone. The Zig Zone. The Zig Zone.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Manic Monday at the Zig Zone. Trying right now to figure out why the hell my... I have to watch myself. But see, see that, and with you guys being here, you guys get the G-rated show because I try to behave myself when I'm in front of my little cousins here. But once in a while I do kind of slip. But it just says turn on the Mevo. It says switch on the Mevo.
I pushed the top of it, so I don't know.
Do you have to hold it?
I did that, and it did some light thing. I don't know.
Well, hold it till the light stays on.
Oh, Jesus.
Just slap it on the side.
Oh.
There you go. Okay, now let it go. See, we're just like, not tech savvy here.
And limbo.
That looks awesome.
Oh, let's do a shot while you guys are...
Yeah. Oh, yes, do our shots. Well, it's not the same when you can't see it. Wait, here we go. We're connected. Slow down, Turbo.
Oh, my.
Connect. Oh, come on.
All these shots are waiting.
Are we on Mevo yet?
Not yet.
Have you noticed we start every show troubleshooting Mevo?
It was working
At
fine, but...
some point, we're going to learn to start that 5 minutes early.
Yeah.
Everything else is easy. We just push a button. Mevo, it's like,
It needs an extension cord because the cord is just in the way. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know.
It has to reboot.
Okay, because I think it's still stuck on this. Let me try and find the Mevo thing because somebody didn't have it on.
Well, should we do introductions for who we have on the air
hang
tonight?
on, sure. Yeah, I got it. Look at this.
Slow down, Turbo.
Ding, ding, ding.
I got this. I mean, come on. I'm only half of an idiot. I'm not a complete idiot. I'm just half of an idiot.
Wouldn't it be better to be a complete idiot?
Not really. All right, see that? Then we go live. Oh, look, we got the beautiful ladies in the house, and then we just go ahead and key on their face. All right, let me see. It was hold, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then so let me key on.
Yeah, don't get my elbow this time.
I do this, and then...
Uh-oh. I gotta mute that.
See, and there it is. It's yellow. There we go. And then let me key on... So this way I can get it to where it keys on everybody's voice. Not bad, huh? I mean, I like this Mevo thing, but it's when you're trying to, figure out new stuff...
Do we need the Jeopardy music going on while you're doing this bullshit?
No, you're right. I would probably suggest that. That would probably be a good idea.
Next time.
And then, boom, there you go. All right, Scott, you're in.
Or just a clock ticking in the background.
Right, and then there's my little cousins right there. Bada boom, bada bang. Let me widen this up. And there we go. See, I'm not so stupid after all.
Aren't you?
I'm only half an idiot, okay? That's how that works. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put you guys on the screen so you can actually see. Where we are at. And let me click this. And there you are. All right, very good. Let me hit this. And then we need, whoops. No, not that one. Bada boom, bada bing. Look at all those pretty faces. Not mine. Not mine. But JJ's behind the board over there.
How y'all doing in there?
You're only going to see JJ on the YouTube live. We are YouTube live. Just go on to YouTube, Kaotic Radio. Just click the live icon, and then you'll see everybody in the house, which is going to be the best way to see everybody. Those of you that follow us on Facebook, you're the ones that we were just trying to satisfy with the Mevo. You guys better feel special. I'm just saying.
I'm special.
No, I said they better feel special, not you. Not you. Okay. But we do have DK. We have my little cousins, Dianthus, in the house, and their buddies and partners in crime on their tour, DK Zero. Dianthus has been around. They're like family here, so they know what it's like to be here and be on the Zig Zone. Jess used to be part of the drum clinic until she got too busy.
Yeah, I guess school and dance over.
Right?
Oh, you guys got to talk into the front of that one.
Okay.
The front.
Yeah, that one's got to be tilted.
Check.
There you go.
Okay, usually it was the side, right? But
That one's right in the front.
okay, I kept playing with it.
It's
Okay.
But on their West Coast tour, you guys had brought in a new band to the Kaotic Radio family, which is DK Zero. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, thank you.
And we have Kato.
Hello.
Okay, I did pronounce that correctly.
You
Am I
did.
correct? Okay, very good. And we have Derek,
Correct.
which is where the whole DK Zero. We didn't know that until
Correct.
earlier today. You know what? DK Zero.
Yeah.
Derek Kato. You know.
Derek,
There
it
you
was
go.
Derek and Kate Ground Zero. That's
There
how
we
we
go.
started that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we both went through some really shitty relationships and breakups, and
At the same time.
at the same time. So we felt like when we met, we were at ground zero, and we just wanted to start something fresh. And
Yeah.
Which made it to where you guys were easily to be able to write tunes then.
Very
Yeah.
angry music.
Angry
yeah.
love songs.
Okay, great.
And
It's good. It's
and
good.
I was talking to Kate earlier about it. Like I'm in a band called Day Zero, which is the same same
deal.
meaning.
Yeah.
And it's kind of
It's good.
what's the word I'm looking for?
Same wavelength.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
But it
Same page.
kind of cool.
Synchronicity.
Nice.
So we do have our traditional shots. So
Yes. Cheers.
a
Cheers.
combo. Cheers. All
Good to
right.
meet you guys.
The girls don't. The JJ.
Yeah.
That is Sammy Hagar's Cabo.
That's
Cabo
incredibly
Wabo.
smooth.
It's very good. You never had the Cabo, huh?
I haven't had Cabo before. No.
Well, one, it's too expensive.
I mean, I've been to Cabo, but I haven't had Cabo.
Yeah, no, it's too. Well, it actually was. I think with JJ, didn't you say it was like cheaper?
Yeah, I found it on sale. And it was like dirt cheap. I was like, I thought this stuff was mega expensive.
Well, it was because I remember when it first came out, it was $50 a bottle. And then when it first came out, you're talking like 20 years ago?
Probably.
Was it 20 years ago?
It was longer than that.
Yeah, I think it first came out when Sammy Hagar hit 70. So about 20, 30 years ago.
And he looks goddamn good. Have you ever seen the picture of the one where it compares Sammy Hagar to Bill Clinton?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen this one.
Oh my God, you got to see that one, man. They're the exact same age, 70 years old, and Sammy looks. Man, if I was a chick, I'd be like, "Hey, Sammy, come here, baby." But man, Bill Clinton, boy, he looks like he was dragged down behind a bus for the last 500 miles.
He looks like he just can't wait to get home and take off his human suit and then to chill on a hot rock.
Right? Because the zombie underneath is kind of starting to bleed through that facade of a person's outer skin.
That's the Hitlery effect.
Right.
Hillary.
And then we've got Rowanna's in the back. She, and thank you, Rowanna and the girls for bringing us lumpia.
No problem.
That
It's a
is-
tradition here. So.
It is, and I'm telling you, man, it's I still can't make it. My girl Otsko decided to join us. Hi, honey. But I've already told you ladies that me and Oscar tried to do it. Can't do it.
I mean, it took us a while too to get the hang of it.
I'm just gonna give up, and I'm just gonna invite you guys to the studio more
Do a
often.
tutorial of
You know.
how to roll lumpia, I guess.
There you
but-
No, I'm just going to give up
That would be
trying.
awesome.
I'm going to give
Don't
up
give up.
trying, and as long as I have you guys on the air, then I know that when you come in with your mom, we're going to get some Olympia, and then there you go. My fix is good to go until I start fiending it again.
I have to say that was my first homemade lumpia though.
They were so good.
Yeah, that was
The best.
amazing. That
Yeah,
was
you
amazing.
ain't gonna get that kind of lumpia at a restaurant.
No.
Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I've only had it one other time with Tiffany's family. Someone made it, and then it was really good. But yeah, yours is very good too. So I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring a couple home for her.
I had about 6 of them already.
I think I had 7. They were so good.
So we've already got people chiming in and looking in on Facebook. So thank you for following the Zig Zone, and I'm sure I've got the YouTube one up. But those of you that are chiming in on YouTube, thanks for being supporters of the show. So you guys have just done this West Coast tour.
We're still going. We have
Yeah, you said 3 more
shows.
nights.
Yeah.
Well, the next following 3 nights.
Exactly.
Yes. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
And you know what? You guys don't look tired. Derek looks kind of
That's
tired.
good.
I'm a little beat up.
I-
Makeup.
Makeup, yeah.
I think maybe maybe Derek should have put some maybe some blush,
Maybe some
stuff on there.
sunglasses on.
Well, I work 7 days a week, so I know that's why I wear sunglasses when I'm on the show. You don't want to see my eyes, man. I got bags, man, that are like 10-gallon bags under my eyeballs. I was actually seeing. You guys ever seen that what was it? That infomercial where it has like this lady puts like some drops or something and it shows like the bags shrink. That makes me wonder what is in that.
So I have some of that.
Do you really?
Wait, this is funny.
And I don't use it because I don't really have any bags under my eyes. But this guy, right?
Did it work?
And he freaked out. It did work.
Well, no.
And
So
his eye
wait.
starts tensing up. He's like, take it off, wash it off.
Okay. So first of all,
Weird sensation.
she surprises me with this. Doesn't tell me exactly how it works, right? She's like, I'm just gonna, your eyes look a little tired, but this is gonna make them look fresh. And I'm thinking, all right, fresh, like cleaner, fresh, like make me feel better inside, fresh. I don't know. And what kind of fresh? Yeah, define fresh. So she's like, just shut up. Let me do this. She comes over. She puts this stuff under one eye, and it just starts tightening like cement, dude. It starts settling in, and like it literally is pulling my skin over past the side of my face. My eye started squeezing this way, and just I looked retarded. I
Because
don't
it
know
was
what
just
was
the one
happening to
eye.
me. It literally felt like someone was yanking my skin off my face. I'm like, get it off, get it off. Yeah.
Did it
I
wash
thought
off?
about that one.
It did wash off. Yeah.
Did it?
It
Wow.
was. Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
allergic reaction or something.
I don't know. That
He's
was
just
brutal.
being a
man.
baby.
It
No,
just,
it
it
was
just
brutal.
seems
It
like
works.
really weird. You know what I mean? How it would just like shrink your skin like that. Now we know.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I'm scared to
Yeah.
try it.
I have some more. I'll give it to you guys. You can try it.
I'll do it on stage
Yeah,
or
yeah.
on the screen.
Yeah, we'll video it.
Hey, Otsko, do you think I should try that stuff?
We should do like a
Oh, look
challenge
at her.
video.
She says
She
yeah.
said, yeah.
Only because she's seen how miserable Derek was. She's like, yeah, I think you should.
No, I think if you have Kate back on, you should have her do that live so
Yes.
everyone can enjoy the.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
That would be. Okay.
Like you with your pepper crap.
I would. Oh,
Eating
yeah.
your peppers.
Oh, no,
your hot peppers.
no, we're not
That was
doing
hilarious.
peppers anymore. Yeah, no, that last one, that Moraga scorpion pepper was just
Oh my
no.
God.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
no. Dude, we tried. We ate the Carolina Reaper.
Oh shit!
Well, the thing is that you like hot stuff, Derek?
I do like hot stuff.
Okay,
yeah.
very good. So, I mean, what is your level of heat?
Well,
I mean, is a jalapeno hot, or can you go hotter than that?
I can go hotter than a jalapeno.
Okay, so
yeah.
give me an
But I
idea.
mean, I can't go like full ghost pepper,
Okay.
But I could go like a few levels below that, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so ghost
Yeah, I'm
pepper
like-
is like 1 million Scoville. Am I correct, JJ?
Yeah, I think it was like 1.1 or something.
Okay, so you figured the
Pretty darn hot.
how hot can you do you like hot stuff, kiddo?
I've only just started my path down the spicy road.
So you're,
I'm new.
She's fresh.
I can manage like hot sauce and.
Well, it burns
No.
just as bad on the way out, so you got to figure that
I'm
into
just
the
being
equation.
wise. I'm just being wise about it.
well,
I don't have to put the toilet paper in the fridge
Right.
for the morning, like so.
Hit the wet wipes
wanna
in the
deal with
fridge.
that.
I love her honesty, man. We're definitely going to have a show without my little cousins here, man, because we're going to get disgusting. So you have an you from?
Yeah, so I'm from the UK. I was born in Wales, and luckily I don't have a Welsh accent. But all my family are from London, and so I have a Queen's English fancy.
But you could speak Welsh because
like
Welsh
Dochi.
was...
So which explains, which I'm getting to my point. Well, you guys are not. I mean, Europe is not really into like hot stuff, right? Not like us Mexicans, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, we have a lot of Indian cuisine, tons and tons of Indian. So we have some pretty spicy curries, but I steered clear of that when I was living there.
So they get into the Scoville level, probably somewhere in the ballpark of about maybe 250,000, maybe on the.
I think that's probably
level.
about right.
Yeah. All right. So you're up to you're not quite the
maybe 750.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe in that range.
All right. So me and JJ, we did the Carolina Reaper, which is 2.2 million,
2.4,
2.4 million.
Whoa.
All right.
Why?
And
so how long did it take to move through your body?
Right.
Because that's
neither of us had the balls to back down.
yeah, I think that's what it is.
Neither of us really wanted to do it. We just didn't want to back down.
Oh, but they had their little ice cream sandwiches waiting for him in the freezer.
No, not that one. But actually, well, because you watch on YouTube and you watch all the stuff, and people are like they'll eat the Carolina Reaper, and some of them are like going, "Who? It's hot. Okay." Then they have the little timer going. Then nobody wants to drink the milk up till after like 10 minutes or something like that, right? So I brought Ben and Jerry's, set it around on the table right here, and so we ate the Carolina Reaper, and we're like, okay, we're chewing in. I'm like, okay, I don't need it yet. 10 minutes goes by. I don't think I need this Ben and Jerry's at all. And I didn't need it. Neither did JJ. So we're like, okay, no big deal. So, I actually gave the ice cream to one of the previous owners because he had his kid. So I'm like, let your son eat that. Then we had the Moraga Scorpion Pepper. Now, the Moraga Scorpion Pepper is 2 million Scoville. We ate that
it felt
one.
hotter.
And well, the difference was that the Carolina Reaper came on so... very slowly. That
it tasted better too. Like
it did have
the
a
Reaper
better taste.
tasted like a good tasting chili.
You grew that yourself, though.
Was not.
No, the other one my buddy grew. I tried to grow, but I couldn't produce any fruit. So he's got this garden full of peppers and stuff. So I figured, let me give it to a guy that grows peppers and let him do it. So
it's a fruit.
It actually is a fruit.
Yeah, it's a fruit.
Pepper's a fruit? I didn't know
Yes,
pepper was.
it
I thought it
is.
was a vegetable.
Seeds in the inside.
It's in the fruit.
It's a fruit.
Yes.
Wow.
So it just came on so slow that your taste buds and everything became acclimated to it as the heat signature came on.
Oh, that's cool.
But now we ate the Moraga Scorpion Pepper, and it was a much bigger piece too, which didn't help at all. So we ate that. The heat came on so quick. I don't think it lasted like 2 minutes, right? The JJ?
You guys were dying. I was laughing.
And that's when I had these ice cream sandwiches. Did I even last 2 minutes, or did I last longer?
No, I think we waited a full 10 minutes.
Did we really?
Yeah, because we were talking the whole time doing it.
Oh my God, it was miserable, and I'm like, well, I'm just never gonna do this again because it went from like you chew and you're like, oh, I can feel the heat, to like, oh, okay, well, I just took a big chunk of fire and just shoved it into my mouth, and yeah, it was bad. It was miserable. I was miserable all the next day and everything. It wasn't like the Carolinas, so
And it woke me up around 2 or 3 in the morning, and I couldn't sleep.
Right. So we'll never do that again. But I'll tell you what.
Right.
I think next time if we do try, we get some people with some like hot food coming in, we'll get Derek inside here and
Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds fun.
Yeah, right.
I worked in this rum bar for a while. I was bartending, in between gigs and things like that. And this guy, the owner, he wanted to make this really spicy rum just for shits and giggles, to maybe see if he could convince somebody to take a shot. So he literally filled it with peppers, like all sorts of different peppers. This bottle of rum, and he let it just sit there for like a couple months in the back bar.
That sounds good.
Oh, dude, it was hot as fuck. He put it up one day and just put spicy rum. If you can handle a shot, we'll buy the shot for you. Basically, like if you can't handle it, then you have to pay for it.
Right.
And he put a price tag on it. It wasn't anything expensive. It was like $10 or something. And Oh my God, we had so many people come in. They're like, okay, I'm gonna try that right there, and I shit you not, man. People were throwing up outside the back door so fast, dude. Because they take the shot and they'd sit there for like maybe a minute or two, and then it would all start kicking in, and they were like running for the door, man. It was so funny, but. A couple of the guys that worked there actually got pretty acclimated to it, so they were like, "Yeah, I'll take that. Just shoot it, and drink a beer, no problem, Yeah, but if you're not ready for that,
right?
Now, my buddy from OG's, Kenji, he puts tequila with the really hot peppers, and that shit. He just gave me a little sample of it, and I was like, "Oh hell no." Hell no.
I can dig that.
So freaking hot.
Tastes like burning.
Yeah.
You know what would be awesome? We need to get your buddy from California Distilleries to do something like that. Maybe put 2 Moraga scorpion peppers in a bottle of rum.
No, they do a jalapeno margarita down there that's made with the corn whiskey.
Yeah, but jalapenos are pickles.
No. These were spicy as hell.
I can sit there and eat them like pickles.
That was spicy enough for me. I was like, fuck that. Oh, that's great. That's perfect.
Yeah, but you're a white boy.
We can have them make they'll make the Zig Zone special for us.
Yeah.
Put some scorpions in some vodka.
All right, so
The butt burner.
right?
Yeah.
So what Bernard did, and first off, I want to say that when I announced the show yesterday, because we were going through the move from our old site, to here. I'm like, okay, you know what? Until we get all settled, it's a lot to move a station and get all the mics and everything.
So you
and,
just moved in here then?
Yeah, this is all new. And so, my show is always about music and motorcycles.
Nice.
So we support the local band scene. And I had to kind of like, okay, well, let me just, not book any bands. And so I get a lot of bands and they're sending me material and what have you. And they're like, okay, I love it. Let me go see you live, but I'm not booking anybody right now. So then I posted yesterday on Facebook, and I had like 5 people send me a private message. Hey, well, Zig, I thought you were booking any bands. So I had like send them all back messages. First off, one, Dianthus, that's my family. So there's the one gift card, And 2, when my little cousin hits me up and says, hey, Zig, we want to come on the show, that is an open invitation. So yes, but I just want to tell everybody, next year I've got my schedule set. We're going to start booking bands, get you guys inside here and get your band promoted. But tonight was just one of those things where we're going to kind of like see what it's like and see if we got everything nailed down with bands coming in. Now we got a new part of the Kaotic family with DK0. So my first question to Kato and Derek. Or do I say Derek and Kato because it's DK? Does it really matter? Because I'm always respectable to ladies first.
I think ladies first is the best.
So Kato and Derek. So give me how did this whole thing come about, and just give us an idea about your band.
It was a dare, actually. One of our friends on a very drunken night, she heard me singing, and she knew that Derek was already a very seasoned musician, and she was like, "You guys should start a band."
Were you doing like karaoke or something at a party?
Kind of.
Okay.
Well, we were just getting drunk at the house, and some music was coming on, and Kate was going for it, and she sounded great.
I was like, "Yeah, that's cute." And then the next day, over like the next couple of days, I was like, "Actually,
she looked at me.
That's not a bad idea. Maybe we should start a band."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those spontaneous things are always. That's usually how a lot of the good music works.
Yeah.
A lot of bands were built that way.
Yeah.
The Stones were like kind of like an accident.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're from Europe, Kato.
I am.
How long have you been here?
11 years.
Wow.
And guess what?
And you sound like you just came here yesterday.
I felt like I can do like American accent, but it's more like a valley girl.
Oh!
I don't even know why you're laughing right now. I thought it was pretty good. Okay.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Because, I love the accent.
Thank you. I'm holding on to it, dear life. It gives me something
good.
special.
Yeah, again, it separates you from the norm. That's one thing I love about my girlfriend is she has a strong Japanese accent. But she's been here for what, honey? It's been 25 years because we were dating before I met my boy's mother. We dated for a few years, and then after my separation from the boys' mom, we got back together. So we've been together the last 8 years.
That's awesome.
Since recently, yeah.
That's very cool.
Love you, honey. Want to make sure I'm still in good graces. But I love it, and it's strange how you do that, and then you lose the accent, because the thing is, you don't hear your accent when you sing either.
No,
Yeah,
I
not
guess
at all.
not. No.
In fact, that was something that came up when we were recording. Was the producer who
He was
really
pushing
worked
me
with
to
us.
do more
He
of
was
an
like, I
American
really,
accent.
no, he wanted the English accent.
Well, for a couple
yeah,
of songs.
yeah, he was like, I really
Yeah.
want you to like bring out that accent, and she just for whatever reason,
He wanted me to go
she
more
would sing, and it just
actually.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
She just couldn't get it out. Like it came out just sounding American. So, yeah.
No matter how hard you try.
No matter how hard, yeah. But then
This sounds cool. You
yeah,
guys sound way cooler.
But then we had this the last song that we recorded was "Shoot to Kill," and then again Charles was like, "All right, I really want that like Cockney hard English accent."
He was like,
She's like, "Nasty, nasty." Yeah, so it sounds good.
But it was something you weren't singing; you were actually just stating the. Okay.
Yeah.
yep.
Wow, what a trip. So how many albums you guys have out right now?
Right now we have the one album, and
Released this year in like
yeah,
May. We released
we
it.
finished it and released it in June, actually,
June,
June
sorry.
1st. And so this tour is basically supporting that album. And we all, in the process of finishing that first album, we were introduced by a good friend of ours, Davey Suicide. He introduced us to a producer that he was writing with. And he's like, Charles would be great for you guys. I think you should consider taking, a couple of your tracks to him and see if he can just rework them and maybe show you guys something that you're, maybe not aware of yet. And so we took our two best songs off our album, and we went to Charles's place, and he listened to them, and he convinced us he should have them. And so he took them and turned them into something even way the fuck better than we could have done. And we were so blown away, we just put those straight onto the album with all the other songs the way that they were, and released that. And then those are our singles, Turn Up the Hate and I Feel. And then we started writing more material with him. So we have two other complete tracks that are totally done and ready to go that we're performing on the tour. And while we were gone, he brought his whole recording studio with him.
And we did some writing on the road.
He wrote
actually,
3 tracks while we were
While we're in
sitting at an
Seattle.
Airbnb in Seattle.
Yeah.
Just, they sound phenomenal. And then I've been writing along the way too, and so we're basically just doing this big collaboration. And so all of November is going to be finalizing an EP. We're doing basically 9 songs, and then we'll have a few singles, and then one like 5 or 6 song EP that we'll release probably in the spring.
All right, very nice. So now, you have a website? So
Yeah.
Let the listeners know how they can get in touch with you. How can they can purchase your material? I'm pretty sure you're probably
So
on.
yeah, you can go to dk0.com and you
Okay.
can find everything that you need there. So
And we have, obviously all the usual places like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
and then you can download our
we have
music
Reverb
from
Nation.
Reverb Nation, SoundCloud, Bandcamp.
Yeah.
But we also did the CD Baby distribution
Mm-hmm.
package, so all of our music is available everywhere digitally. Like
Yeah.
once you put it there, it's just everywhere. So
And obviously the band name is very simple, so just DK,
DK,
the letters, and
then
0.
Yeah.
And not the number 0.
Not the-
Actually spell out
spell out 0, yeah.
Right. So that's very simple. Well, great. He did have them loaded up. And that's not a soundbite in the background.
They found us.
They're coming to get you now.
But how do you know?
Yeah, they're looking for Scott. So he's already got them loaded up. You see that on the JJ?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to play one?
Yeah. Which one of the two did you want to? I Feel or?
Let's do Turn Up the Hate.
All right, turn up the hate. Why don't you go ahead and just
I
click
thought he
on
was
that
asking
one?
me to choose.
No,
You don't have a choice.
you have no choice.
All right, here it is. Turn up the hate.
'Cause I want to hear this too while we're walking around. So let's do this.
I feel it crawling in my skin. I feel it dripping in my sin. I'm waging all the wars within. From the beginning to the end. It is a violator, not an annihilator. They wanna tie me down and be my penetrator. I think they wanna play, oh no, they're on the way. You know I can't escape, I gotta feel okay. When it's late, my demons come to me. Drown out the love and turn up the hate. When it's late, my demons come to me. Drown out the love and turn up the hate. Turn up the hate. Turn up the hate. Torn apart by all I've lost. I can't believe how much this cost. Knowing all my fucking thoughts. It's in control and I'm tired knots. Yeah, knots. It is a violator, not an annihilator. They wanna tie me down and be my penetrator. I think they wanna play, oh no, they're on the way. You know I can't escape, I gotta feel okay. When it's late, my demons come to me. Drown out the love and turn up the hate. When it's late, my demons come to me. Fuel on the fire to steal my fate. When it's late, my demons come to me. Drown out the love and turn up the hate. When it's late, my demons come to me. Drown out the love and turn up the hate. Turn out the hate. Drown out the love and turn up the hate. Drown out the love and turn up the hate. Drown out the love and turn up the hate. Drown out the love. Turn up the hate. Turn up the hate. Turn up the hate. Turn up the hate. When it's late, my demons come to me. Drown out the love and turn up the hate. When it's late, my demons come to me. Drown out the love and turn up the hate. When it's late, my demons come to me. When it's late, my demons come to me.
That was awesome. You know, and just to let you guys know that what they're hearing on YouTube, and also if you are tuned into Facebook Live, you are not going to be able to hear what we are listening to. So if you're on Facebook Live, all you seen us was just sitting here.
We're just shooting shots at tequila.
So you need to just open up another window, go into YouTube, Kaotic Radio, and there's the live icon, and you will be hearing everything that we hear as far as DK0. So what you guys are hearing, it's coming a lot more clear when it goes on. It just goes to the computers.
Well, better download the app.
Yeah, better download the app, download their songs. They're all over the place. DK's you can't miss it.
That's a really good video too. Y'all didn't get to watch it. I was watching it.
Oh no, I know.
You guys need to check out the video.
They were mentioned when they first got here, and I'm like, going, yeah, well, unfortunately, this is radio, so we can't watch the video. But I'm definitely going to list to watch it when I go home.
Well, this is actually how we got connected to Dianthus is through Pat. So Pat, the guy who shot that video and our I Feel video, we met him 3 weeks after we moved here from Seattle
it was
area.
2 weeks.
2
I had
weeks,
no
maybe 2
furniture or
weeks. Yeah.
anything. Like we just got here.
And Pat came to our house with a guy named Joe Flanders. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Average Joe.
Yeah, Average Joe. So he was doing this online YouTube series for his 4th season. He needed some promo shots with a hot chick. So he hit up Kato. And he's like, hey, can we come to your house and take some pictures with you? She's like, yeah, I guess so. So yeah, they show up and we met Pat and they were super cool. And he said he shot videos. And then like a year later, we went to Davey Suicide Show, and we saw him there, and we met Dianthus, we met their mom, and Pat was shooting video for you guys that night, and he's like, yeah, well, we're gonna be doing this and that and blah blah blah, and I'm managing these guys, and I mean, I swear, like maybe just 2 months later, well, not even a week later, he was in our house shooting a Davey Suicide video, and then we were shooting with him, and then it just made sense for us to book this tour, you know.
I like how everyone is connected.
Everyone's
it's
so
like
connected.
One big circle, one big happy family. It's pretty cool.
And also, like, it's kind of cool too, because we released our album. We want to promote it too, and they did as well. So it just worked out, having a tour at the same time.
The perfect tour.
I think we released our album like maybe a month apart from each other, right?
Was it a month?
We were June, and you guys were July. Yeah,
that's right.
And then you guys now we got a few dates for the next 3 days. I'm gonna go. You got in Grand Terrace tomorrow, which I'm gonna be at that one. So, but go ahead and you're gonna be at tomorrow, yeah.
Yes, it would be at the venue, and that's in Grand Terrace, and the show starts at 8:00. We got Caligula dance party, so they're really cool. I think it's like metalcore, right? Yeah. So we got them, and then we got us, and then we got DK0. So the 3 of us bands. Show starts at 8, and it's free. So. It's a free show.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I like free.
Yeah.
That's why I would say, hey, Zig, hey, Zig, what's the best beer? Free beer. Unless it's Coors. Unless it's Coors fucking Light, then you just forget it. I don't even want it.
So what's the best ball?
Look at this guy. You see, he's gonna try to make me answer that question.
I'm just curious.
Okay, the first one I gurgle on. Let me tell you something, Derek. You can't stump me, buddy. Can't stump me. See my girlfriend. See, that's when my girlfriend's back inside. And she's like, oh my god. She just doesn't. Hi, honey. She goes, she's giving me that little look.
They're watching us.
No, hon, I'm not going to put his balls in my mouth. But if you just happen not to see me sitting in my chair right here, you'll know where I'm at. So now, you got this tour going. So now, really quickly before we go on to the tour, because actually I never finished my point. Bernard actually let us rolled us up for 3 hours tonight. So if you guys just start passing out on me, then we'll call it. But the Zig Zone is from 7 to 9, but he wrote on the thing for 7 to 10. Just in case we start blabbering on, because that's what happens on my show.
I think there's plenty of lumpia here, so we're gonna be okay for a while. Yeah.
I know the last time the girls were on the show, we went till like 11. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I think we all started kind of getting tired at that time.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with your sound? I mean, were you guys? Because I said, you know what, when we like the last tune, I said, you know what, that kind of sounds like Paramount 5000, which is a great band.
Right.
It's a good Kate question right here.
So we have a big age gap. It's like almost a decade.
You wouldn't know that by the bags on the
Oh, you guys really? 10 years between you two?
Nine.
She's obviously the younger one. So
I was
Obviously.
like, I got to introduce you to some new metal, because he had no idea, and he'd never listened to Manson, Powerman 5000, Dope, Static X.
Well, okay,
So-
let's back up. Wait, let's back up for a second. I've been a professional bass player most of my life, and so I was like upright bass and fretless, a lot of jazz, a lot of like blues, a lot of tours with different bands that were basically
Very
like
seasoned.
pretty much anyone who wanted bass, I would just get the call. I lived in Seattle for like almost 20 years, and so I just went out with anybody, country, western, bluegrass, like whatever. And so typically, like in the way I studied music was like, if I got hired for a funk band, I just learned funk, and that's all I listened to for like a year. And then if I got hired for a country band, that's all I listened to for like a year or whatever it was. So my concept of music is like, it goes in, I consider it studies of whatever it is that I'm about to be a part of. And that becomes absorbed into my knowledge base, and then I can use that for later kind of interpretations of things that I need to record on.
So
or
we
perform on.
met, and I started listening to all this stuff.
And
I was
I
like,
never,
who's this?
I
Who is
never
this?
was in a heavy band before, ever.
I was like, let me show you the ways.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah. And he was super inspired, and we decided that we wanted to pursue a band together in this style. So.
Well, we were just so angry.
And we were very angry at the time.
Need the fuel for the fire, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our sound is a combination of a lot of like new metal and old school industrial, some early Nine Inch Nails, and then of course.
Good. That's another that you brought that up because that's another one I was thinking of too.
I got really inspired, like just going and listening to that music. Anytime anyone enters like a new musical realm, typically you find the top of the game first, and then you work your way down into like the little different sort of factions of what makes up a sound. So like industrial could be anything, from cyber to electro to, like a hard rock version of industrial to EBM to, specifically German style EBM industrial to like electro. I mean, there's all sorts of different factions of industrial, but like, so she introduces me to industrial, and like, of course you start at the top, like who are the biggest names, but I got really inspired by Nine Inch Nails and just their production and his ability to just incorporate all this amazing analog sound and synths and distortions and just weird, fucked up sonic.
Trent Reznor is a very brilliant artist.
He's brilliant, yeah.
That guy's amazing.
Yeah, it was just... So anyways, yeah, he inspired me a lot in terms of the way that I tried to approach writing the songs for the first album. And then in terms of like vocal stylings, I think probably like Manson and Static, like Wayne Static actually, this is so crazy because I never screamed before. So this is like my first band that I've ever sang on as a lead vocalist. And then of course, the first time I've ever done like a scream style vocal. And it took me probably a year to figure it out. And I tried so many times, and Kate can attest. She'd come into the room and she'd be like,
"You sound like shit.
Wow, that sucks." And so I like after like 8 months or so, I found like this fake scream, and I like
you kind of had to break your voice.
And I started
you
sort of put distortion.
You were too timid for a while, and
And I kind of like I got like part way there, And then she was like, just watch the Static X Live video. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to watch this again. So I put it on, and then like after the third song, he starts to talk to the audience. And so there's no music, nothing going on. And he's talking in the same style of voice that he sings in. But that's how he's addressing the audience. And I'm like, oh my God, that's how he does it. And I literally just turned to my microphone, and I fucking pulled up a song, and I just started doing it, and it just happened. And I was like, okay, I think I got something. I was so excited. Like, I recorded this song, and then I brought Kate, and I'm like, hey, check this out. And that was Blood and Violence. That was the first song. That was the first song I ever screamed, that I actually got my scream on.
That's a great title, Blood and Violence.
Blood and Violence.
Just want to let you know that a buddy of mine from Arizona, Bobby Basile, he chimed in because we were talking about the pepper. He says, no, that blonde is way hotter than the pepper. And he's already sitting there flirting with your girl,
He's not the first.
But go ahead.
I was actually about to talk about how I absolutely hate performing Blood and Violence because I can never freaking remember the lyrics. So I have my technique because it's so lyrically heavy at the end. You switch it up so much that I have this technique where I'll like cover my mouth and the mic so that people don't see that I can't remember.
Oh, you're faking it. You're playing an Aussie move.
You might not see me, but I'll turn around and I'll face our drummer and do it.
What was it? Aussie.
Because I can't.
Now they're going to know at the next show. They're going to know.
Now they know I don't know the lyrics to the end of that song.
Yeah.
This is about Ozzy.
You know what I said about Ozzy? How many times have you seen Ozzy? Well, actually, he won't even cover the mic. He'll just be like,
He doesn't give two shits.
That's right. Kind of like David Lee Roth. He's like, oh, Jay, everybody stop, man. I forgot the fucking lyrics. Start all over again.
Or just let the crowd sing it. Just
right?
You sing it.
Well, Phil and Salmon was notorious for that. I've seen that was the band outside of Dianthus. I've seen them the most.
That's awesome.
Pantera.
Yeah.
I've seen them 15 times.
No way.
Oh, that's so cool.
I've never seen Pantera before.
No?
No.
Oh, well, you ain't gonna be able to either.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But Phil and Salmon would always be like all jacked up, and he would just do this. And I swear to God, there was I seen them one time where he might have sang, maybe like a handful of lyrics, and the audience sang the rest. But which
That's
is
so cool, though.
But which is cool. If you get an audience to sing your entire set,
dude.
I mean, really,
Well, I know what I'm gonna do next. So.
Yeah.
So you guys, you got the tour going on, and you guys, Pat was like you guys' link to do this tour.
Yeah.
Now, this is actually the longest tour for you girls.
Yeah, it's actually like our first time playing outside of Cali.
Right.
We've been doing Cali shows like since we were like 11. Just kidding. Not even. No, we weren't that young, but like we've been playing a lot of local shows too. So it was really good to get out of state and actually play up north where there's a great scene for like goth and industrial, and like there was a great local scene. So it was exciting. Yeah.
So now my question is obviously when you go into different states or you go into different cities, I've been to Portland, I've been to Seattle, and the music scene is very different from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hollywood, you can pretty much play pretty much anything.
Yeah.
And you're accepted. But you get into towns like Frisco, things are a little bit different. Even though Metallica derived from Northern California,
That's right.
but it wasn't. But most of the notoriety came outside.
It came out in like New York, basically.
Yes, and Southern California.
Yeah.
Because Lars Ulrich actually went to. He was. Didn't he go to high school just in here in the IE?
Was it no way? I know.
Did he really?
Hetfield went to Downey. Was it Downey?
James Hetfield did.
Downey High School.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was.
Wasn't that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's a trip how everything works. But now, because your music can pretty much, if I watched, you guys at, you guys played the Whiskey. That was the start. That's what kicked everything off. So I see at the Whiskey. Okay, that's great because everybody's getting acceptance of that because you have a very good melting pot. You go to Frisco and that's still a great like a scene for you.
Yeah.
But then we got Dianthus, and now how was it when you went up into Northern California? I mean, how was it? Like did people have to get warmed up to you, or?
Okay. Well, actually, like when we first start, we kind of want to like switch up our set list a little bit, but we do start off with like Hazel Eyes, and that's kind of like where we kind of like read the crowd a little bit. But regardless, we just have a good time, and if people like catch on, they feel the vibe, it relates to as well.
Right.
So. Yeah, it was a lot of fun though, for sure.
Exactly, and just being the two of us.
I think it just takes the first song.
It takes the first song, and after that, people get the vibe. They see where things are gonna go, and plus it's just us too. So
and they were probably really shocked to see like, wow, these two young ladies are like killing it.
I can attest to that.
Where's the bass player? Where's the guitar player? Where's the clown? I mean something. Where's the rest of the band?
Someone's gonna walk out. Just watch.
But see, one of the things is that's what I love about Jackie and Jess is that they can carry it all on their own.
And the package is so unique. No one has ever seen two Asian twins killing it.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
And super cute and super talented.
As soon as that first guitar riff kicks in and she's like, her hair's going everywhere.
Like,
dude, cell phones are out and they're just like recording, and it's at every single show. I see it every single time.
You're like, dude, check this out.
They're like, you're not gonna believe this shit.
What the hell? Where did they come from?
Yeah.
It's
speaking of eyes. I noticed that someone has changed their eye color. Is it just?
We both did. Oh, I think Jackie went brighter actually.
I went green.
She went green. Yeah. I still got my green.
I can't tell you're the sunglasses on. I just noticed that.
Yeah. We like to switch it up, keep it fresh.
Okay. Well, you've never been in the studio with the different eye color. I like it.
I
like it.
Oh. I guess not.
It's kind of like the Huskies when they have different eye colors, except it's both.
Yeah.
Like that's so cool. I love when they have different eye colors. It's tight.
Yeah.
It's like a part of the look, I guess.
So now we're in Northern California. Now you go into Portland. Now Portland, that is not a diversified town. I've been to Portland.
No.
It's not a diversified town. It's a
I had
town.
such a shock playing the whiskey to playing in Portland. I was like, where did the energy go? Yeah,
dude,
the culture
yeah,
shock
yeah.
too, and just like, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, the whiskey's like all that
no
kick
offense to people
ass.
from Portland, though.
You're in Hollywood. I mean, for God's sake, and this is like the prime.
Well, the other
spot,
thing about
right?
playing in Hollywood is it's a tourist city, so we have people just walking in off the street. People are just like, oh, there's something cool in there. Let's go in. So we had like a big diverse crowd. Whereas Portland is very unique. It's full of hipsters. You have to know that the show is on. People aren't just going to walk in off the street. Right. So yeah.
There's a lot of people leaning against the back wall like this.
So I'm not even going to nod.
Yeah, you guys are great.
Right.
Yep, it was a good show.
That's great. And I did enjoy it, but you can't quite tell.
You can't tell through their beards.
Right.
Through their beard, their mountain man beards.
While their pants are squeezing the life out of their legs and their balls.
But we love Portland. We love Portland. We love Portland people. We do.
The stage is pretty cool too. I love the stage.
So how I mean I can already say that they were probably a little bit more accepted. I'm just trying to figure out how was it when you guys hit the stage?
Let's see. Do you remember which?
The ones in Portland, like the Lovecraft, and we played the Hawthorne Hideaway. Yeah, I mean, like people, there'd be a couple of people there, and then like after a while, like when they start hearing us play and hearing the other bands, like there'd be more of a crowd because they're curious. It's about the curious factor. Yeah, and that's it's fun because then you kind of like give them that shock, and they're like, "Who's in town tonight? We don't know who these guys are, But we had posters up, so we had a lot of cool people swing by.
And actually, like as performers and artists, like there are going to be people that are jumping for you, and there are going to be people that just stand completely still. But like it's kind of funny too, because you see them like standing still, and you think like, oh, they're not digging it, they're not moving, because but then they come up to your merch table afterwards, and they're like a totally different person. So like when we see people, standing still, we don't let that get to our head too much.
Well, which is true, because I'm not the kind of person. Yeah, I'm not the person that goes up there and I'm 50. I'm a musician myself. Musician. So it just I love to sit back. I love to enjoy the show, and bring it all in, and I'm watching the show, and I'm watching everything around me. But I'm still sitting there going, oh yeah, this is great. I can dig this. Nobody wants to see an old ass bastard like me, trying to.
We do that.
Oh my God, keep your shirt on, dude.
Or sometimes they don't want.
We're behind the kid anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
It's a drummer mentality, I guess.
Right. So now we move from Portland. Now we're moving on to. Now wait, I'm going back to Portland. I mean, I'm just kind of curious. Let's go outside of the club thing. How left is it just driving around town?
Jeez.
I don't want. I'm not trying to. I don't want to turn this into a political show.
You're just trying to find out if. Yeah, I mean, it's
how left is it? Is it just like you see the Trump hate posters and anti this and anti that?
I mean, if there's a line and then on the right side is right, and on the left side is left, and then there's sort of like a tree about 1,000 yards to the left. Yeah, Portland's like behind that tree. So that's about how far left Portland is.
Yeah.
But there's some great tacos at food trucks right behind that tree. So
they actually have tacos in Portland.
They have great food trucks, dude. Portland is like their food trucks are bomb. Yeah.
Yeah, not like South LA where I'm from.
Well, no, they're not tacos like that. No, they're.
I heard they didn't even have Mexican there. It's like they do have some like taco trucks.
No, they do.
It's vegan though.
They do. Yeah. It's
So they're libtard tacos.
That is not a taco. You can't say it's a taco if it ain't got carne asada. I'm just saying. Or some
They've got some tofu in there and some carrots.
Actually, soy riso makes good tacos. If you ever tried that.
No, chorizo is actually chorizo is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I use that for taco
I did
meat.
try that.
It's like a veggie taco thing.
Yeah.
No, soy riso isn't bad.
It's chorizo. I mean,
I can't eat chorizo.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be right on the toilet.
What is it?
No, thanks.
Chorizo, and and basically it's made out of soy instead of like the pork or the beef.
Got it.
But it's actually really good.
It's
Now,
not greasy like chorizo is.
The only reason, because my buddy of mine made it for me, and he's like, "Hey man, I brought you when I was opening up my shop. This was years ago." He says so I get there and he was piping my my air compressor throughout my shop, and he goes, "Hey man, there's breakfast inside the microwave." I'm like, "Oh, okay, good." So I did. I took a bite. "Oh, this is great chorizo." I'm like, "Yeah, isn't it really good?" "Yes, it is." I chow it down. He goes, "I just want you to know that's made out of soy." I'm like, "What?" And now, had he told me ahead of time, I'd probably been more a little apprehensive, but it was actually really good. And so I actually do the chorizo thing.
Oh, that's cool.
But that's about as vegan as I get, unless you're going to put a salad in front of it. It's going to be a Caesar salad.
Well, you can still put cheese on the soy chorizo.
What's that?
Cheese on a soy riso.
Oh yeah, of course. You
cheese.
gotta put cheese, dude. You gotta put cheese on everything. I'm Mexican, for God's sake. All right. Okay, Mexicans love to eat right. All right,
Mexican American.
Right. Going down in my, automobile. Actually, Cheech and Chong are actually going to be performing at the San Manuel, I think.
No way. When?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
I feel like I saw a billboard for that somewhere.
Yeah. I just kind of, it was one of those billboards where they're electronic, so they change. It's not like a still one, you know? And I see, what? So
flash of Cheech and Chong.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, what? So I think it was at the casino. We need to look that up. Hey, JJ, look that up. Because I think that would be badass seeing Cheech and Chong live.
That would be amazing.
That would be just, because it's still alive. Well, for good reasons, they're hemp, supporters. So,
have you ever seen Yellowbeard? The Cheech and Chong movie from back in the 80s.
Way back then.
So long.
That was so slapstick.
Yeah. Where they were like the Spanish Inquisition.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they were at that point.
Nothing can stop the Spanish Inquisition.
They were trying to do, what was the JJ? You're my era. Who would always make those little slapstick comedy things?
Pee Wee Herman?
No, not Pee Wee Herman. That's on,
he was on Cheech and Chong.
A director.
Oh, Mel Blanc.
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like that kind of,
exactly,
that goofy kind of stuff. But you still can't beat Up in Smoke.
Yeah, Up in Smoke, yeah.
I have Up in Smoke on DVD, and I'm telling you, about every 6 months I kind of play it out. Actually, I started playing. I was playing it one time in my boys. They were a little bit younger. They're 18 and 20 now, but they walked in and I was kind of watching it, and they were like, "Hey, what's up, Dad?" And I'm like, "Do I need to turn this off?" No, and it just happened to be the scene when they were in the car, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he goes, what is that? Oh, it's Labrador." And he's like, "Oh, what Labrador? What is that?" "Yeah, man, my damn dog ate my stash, but I had to follow him around for a fucking week, man." And then they're sitting, and then the cop comes up and he's like, going, "Oh, you start eating stuff, right?" And
You can keep on knocking, but you can't come in.
He's like, "Oh, you ate so much. You ate more LSD than I've ever seen." And so my son's, I'm like going, "Oh my God, dude, do I really need to damn them to see this?" I'm like, what the hell? But my son's 18 and 20. This is years ago, but they're 18 and 20, and they're just like health nuts, So well, my oldest, and he goes to the gym all the time. He's, he that's all he does. Always trying to watch me what I eat, which is great because I have lost a few pounds.
The machismo, you call
the machismo, yeah. He's got way too much machismo. Man.
I found Cheech and Chong's date.
That dude, man.
What's the date? What's the date?
I tell you,
it's November 16th at Morongo Casino.
There you go.
I saw the billboard for that.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah, we were just in Indio on Saturday.
Oh, speaking of my oldest son, he has a girlfriend now, but I don't want to throw him on the bus. But when he first met the girls for the first time, he really had the hots for Jackie.
Jackie.
Otherwise you're gonna like them both because they're twins. But you can tell the difference. But I just wanted to say that. I just want to put that out there.
That's hilarious.
But so now, okay, now we leave Portland. Now we go to Washington's. It's still a liberal state, but and the music is more kind of like it's you're still but there's not much metal in Washington.
Right.
So how did that turn out?
I don't know. We kind of had to just infiltrate the scene, I guess, so to speak, and kind of just like convert them
Bring metal back
a little bit to. Well,
Everybody loved them.
Oh,
Everybody
thank you.
Everyone
loved
We
loved
played a few
Everyone
ballads too, so I mean we have a variety, I guess, in our set. So we got a couple slow stuff, but it's still heavy, so we just want to keep that going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different styles of their music too. So if some of the crowd doesn't like so much the heavy stuff, like we do have softer stuff like Black Snow as well. So and also we do want to eventually incorporate some of our keyboard songs too, like the Unveiling. We just released a video for that too. So
Can we talk about that video? Because that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, because the video is with Jack or Jinx.
Jinx. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great video.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very soulful. I did respond on it.
Yeah, thanks for the sweet comments.
Well, I mean, because I'm just saying. Everybody thinks that they're the biggest fan, but I'm telling you right now, Otsko and I are the biggest Dianthus fans on the planet. So just want to let everybody know, we might not go to every single gig, but when we go to, we are supporters.
You're there in spirit with us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because I need you guys to play more near.
Well, they're cross supporters too. They came out to my show. They were playing at the same that the OC Fair, and they were playing before us. And then I see them in the crowd. I'm like, holy shit, there they are. Hey, good to see you guys.
You guys are awesome too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, the Aussie tribute. Yeah, he's in the Aussie tribute, Mr. Crowley.
Nice.
Really good. Shout out.
Everybody knows this guy.
So good. Yeah.
Right.
Whatever. I'm nobody.
Yeah, that was back in July or August.
Yeah, Orange County Fair.
That was a fun show.
Yes, it was.
See, now I forgot what I was going to say. Or what I was going to ask.
About the video?
You guys checked me.
You
out.
had the your nose was getting browner.
Yeah, back to the.
Just
Ta-da-da.
That's a funny one.
So the video. I mean, for people, did the response like, oh, wow, Jinx plays a cello? I mean, did you guys get any responses on that? I mean, you got replies on it.
Yeah, a lot of people, they actually, they know Jinx is very classically trained too, and so are we as well. So there's like a lot of good comments, and actually, I think that music video probably moved the fastest as far as views because people were curious, that we were working with Jinx. They wanted to hear what kind of sound that was. And so when people, like they watched Hazel Eyes and then they watched The Unveiling, we kind of got like two different versions of fans, fans that like the softer stuff and the heavier stuff. So, but it was all good though. All good comments. Yeah.
Well, I have to admit, and this is supporting The Unveiling. I've been on this kick lately. Being a musician since I was young. I'm diversified, just like you did country, you did hip hop. I was like, look, whoever wanted to hire me, man, and put beer and food in my belly and pay my rent, I'm there.
Give me a gig.
Lately, I've been on this like a really huge orchestra symphony kick lately. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's I just turned. Maybe I'm getting returned 51. I don't know, but it's been one of these things, and it started happening. And then when I seen the video, I'm like, oh wow, look at this. So, I mean, now have you got? I mean, obviously I've been following you girls since
2014. It was our other band, right? Yeah.
Hang on, because I'm going to come with the name.
Okay.
I'm going to come with the name. Almost anywhere.
Yeah.
See, I have to save myself.
You know what I mean?
Remember,
she give you a hint there.
I'm almost 51, so you got to give me, a little bit of help here.
Yeah.
So, but I've been watching, the girls for many years, but the music has changed, and I actually think. When I seen the video, it was like, wow. I mean, I think that your musical direction has expanded. It's like look, not only I'm not saying that let's try this and see what happens. I actually think it was actually something, I think we need to incorporate this. I think we need to actually, because this is us. There is classical in us. There is heavy in us. There is, just, straightforward. The different levels of music.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true with us because, starting out, we wrote Hazel Eyes, and that was our very first song as Dianthus, and it's kind of like just a big mixture of every band we've ever listened to, but we didn't want to just limit ourselves to just, a certain genre, and plus, growing up, we liked piano, and we played classical, so we couldn't, not incorporate it because it was who we are.
That's how we started.
Yeah.
Classical.
It was just a part of us, it's like, and then the whole metal thing was just an extra challenge. So we kind of like to hybrid, that and just, see how it happens.
Yeah, actually, when we first started off, we were, we still do listen to a lot of heavy bands. And so it kind of just comes out, when we take a break and listen to softer stuff, it's just turns into a huge mix. We love the progressive, the melodic stuff. So.
But classical music is challenging too. So it's you have lots of piano. There's a lot of movements happening, So that's really cool that you're listening to classical stuff because that's what inspires us too.
Well, I mean, think about it. Look at movies. Look at The Godfather, which is a perfect example of the different types of music, how it expresses emotion. Like the scene when he has to kill his brother, when his brother, they take him on the lake and they kill his brother.
Fredo.
When you have that music and the violin, and it's just bringing this emotion out, and you're feeling it. You're like, oh my God! And then here he is looking out over the lake, and the different notes that they're playing on the violin, where you can almost feel what he's thinking. You know what I mean? And that's the really big thing when you open your mind to different types of music, whether it be country or symphony, orchestra, opera. I've been listening on opera too, man, but you still can't figure what the hell they're saying. It just sounds really good. I just love the vocals.
And have you heard of that Apocalyptica?
Yes, that's
they do a lot of.
I love those guys.
They do a lot of with cameos with the guy from what's it? God damn! Now I hit a brick wall. 3 Days Grace, the old singer.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean that one was a great song, and then they've done all kinds of different cameos and stuff on every album they do, and they're all symphony with a metal theme. They got this insane drummer that's just killing it.
Well, think about how many actual bands Yngwie Malmsteen, going back to the older school.
Yeah. All metal is all orchestrated.
And have Ozzy Osbourne, right?
Yeah, a lot of the old Ozzy stuff. I mean, we were talking about it when we were trying to take every bit and piece. It's an orchestration, and it's crazy how much, especially Diary of a Madman and stuff like that. There's so much orchestration involved with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of orchestration involved in that.
If it's not perfect, it sounds like shit. So it's we have to replicate it exactly, and a lot of the other tributes don't do that, but we take the extra time to do that. But yeah, metal is a lot of orchestration to it. So having that theme to it, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm going to put out one iconic band, which I think is the most iconic band of all time. Hands down, there is no band to me in my head, because usually when that question has come up on the show. Well, Zig, if you were gonna pick one band?
Richard Cheese.
Richard Cheese. That guy's amazing.
No,
he's hilarious. I love that guy.
Sorry.
Because it's tough. I mean, Derek, think about it. When someone you're a musician, certainly. Okay, if you were gonna, there's always that question. If you were gonna pick the one car,
what's your one?
What would be the one car you're gonna buy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the as far as a band, if you're going to pick one band and that you figured that was the number one band, and it's a very tough thing because there's so many really good bands, that my first one off my tongue would be Queen.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
absolutely.
you-
Absolutely.
I want to see that movie that's coming out.
Yes.
I know. I want to see that so
Yes.
bad. Yeah. That's gonna be really
Is it
good.
November 6th?
Friday.
Look at this goosebumps.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There's
I
Okay.
hear it's like
there's a lot of
pretty
people
good.
hating on that movie too, and it's like
You know
I
what?
don't know.
Of course.
I don't know what to think. It's
That
like
just means it's got to be good, right?
yeah, my
Yeah,
girl
man.
was like, yeah, I want to go see it too, and it's like I'm like, oh, I've been hearing a lot of people like dogging on it, so I don't know what to think.
You know what? All I
just
can
go
say
see
is if you're gonna dog that movie, it ain't even out yet. You can
Yeah.
go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
Like,
care if
watch
you
it
went to a
first,
preview or something like that, but I'm telling you, man. I mean, Freddie Mercury. I mean, and the band of Queen. You can't get any better. They mixed every type of music
You can
Yeah.
and put it all together. Think
That's
about it.
the
Absolutely.
one band I'd have played at my funeral. Is Queen, right? You
Yeah,
would
Look,
Queen is
though.
everything.
look at her. She's
Right.
like a whole 20 years old.
I know, right?
And
No.
just like, you're like thinking about her funeral.
You know,
But no, you're right.
You're right, exactly. Yeah, you would.
well, her
I can
dad
agree.
I was
is
raised on Queen.
her dad is such a huge Queen fan, and I didn't realize how big like her family was into it.
Yeah. So I was 9 years old when Freddie died, and I cried. Like I remember
did.
legit crying. I was a little kid. And I was just like, "Wow, okay, that sucks. That really
Right.
sucks." So yeah.
And we went back for your grandfather's funeral like 2 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about maybe 2 years ago. And we're driving through the English countryside, and it's her dad in the front seat, blaring Queen, just singing top of his lungs, and she's singing at the top of her lungs, and I'm staring out at the countryside, just going by. Like, it was a really
Welcome to my
surreal moment.
family.
Yeah, it was a really surreal moment. So yeah.
You're like, I'm not even gonna sing. I'm not gonna join this.
No,
I'm
I
just
didn't.
gonna
I
enjoy
just
this.
watched it. I just watched it happen. It was amazing. Yeah.
I mean, so yeah. I mean, I can't think of any other band that has actually brought all this together. I mean, you can get into like Dream Theater, which is really really good.
Absolutely.
You know, they bring a lot of that together. But well, I mean, Queen, it's just so iconic. You can't even fathom just the talent that it took to make that music. And the thing is, they were totally hated on at first.
Totally.
They were completely hated. They're like, going, you guys ain't gonna go anywhere. We're not gonna sign you. Get the hell out of here. What is this crap?
Yeah.
Really?
That's 99% of the bands out there though that get hated on.
Well, but
in the
I mean, no,
first-
they really hate them. But I'm saying, but you, and there's a lot of bands out there, that did that. Yeah, but I mean, to be one of the most iconic bands, and I'm telling you, I would say that if you went to just to random people, and then you went on like you just did like a YouTube thing. Hey, what do you think is the most iconic band of all time? I'll bet you Queen's gonna be the most one mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm just
They'll
gonna
be
say.
up
I think
there,
it's in the
yeah.
top five for sure. Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say so. Yeah.
Well, I mean, comparison to like obviously like Queensryche and come on, Queensryche,
Candlebox,
Queensryche,
Candlebox.
Candlebox, but you got like Tool. Tool's a very good.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Tool brings a lot of stuff together, and it was funny because Tool
does. Tool's live show is ridiculous. I've seen that
Tool is
multiple
probably
times.
one of the best
You guys seen Tool
live
live?
shows I've ever seen.
And Danny Carey is one of the most, like the way he writes is just so it like an orchestration. I mean, he writes so differently than a lot of different drummers, so that's why
Yeah.
he's.
It's why they work.
Yeah.
Well, he. The thing is, when it comes to Danny Carey's drumming, you can't really compare him. I mean, I think you can agree with me on this. You can't. Like a lot of drummers, you can say, "Wow, I can tell that you have a lot of, Vinnie Paul or John, Bonham or blah." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you
A
listen to
little bit
Danny
everything.
Carey, you're like going, "Wow,
It's Danny.
we're in the you know it's him."
If
You're
you
like,
hear
"What
it
the hell
isolated,
that?
it's him.
What the hell is that?"
Yeah, I saw him at the
Yeah.
Whiskey with some random band. It was some really big, fat white guy with a mohawk, and they were playing some weird, obscure music. But it was like, holy crap! It was really good. And I forget the name of the band, but we got tickets to it, and it was like, oh, me and Tiff went, and it was him. That's the only reason I went. It was like, oh, Danny Carey. I don't know who the band is,
He'll
but
just show
You're
up
like, I
at
don't care.
random
I'm just gonna go
bands,
watch Danny.
oh yeah, no, it's just like wow, anything he plays, he just brings it out. Like just he's got that signature style, and then no one can you can't place who else he sounds like.
No, you
Bonham had that same style when he was playing, and then now it's like Danny Carey, and it's like there's only a few selective drummers that have that uniqueness that people can only distinct them as that's them.
Yeah, it's like it can't be imitated basically because it's uniquely them.
Jess, who's your favorite drummer?
My favorite? Okay. Well, shoot, I have a top three. I have a top
Who's
three.
your top three?
And it's definitely Danny Carey. Yeah, Danny Carey's definitely in the top, and then of course it's Neil Peart. Yeah, from Rush.
Yeah, that I wouldn't be playing if it wasn't for Neil.
Yeah, right. Because Neil came before, obviously. So yeah, he's one of the greats. So definitely Neil Peart. Just like his style, and plus with Rush, it was so bright. All the music was so colorful and challenging as well. And then like Tool's kind of like that darker progressive side. Yeah. So I like the combo of those two guys.
And like the Rev too, because he sang and
the
played
Rev
as
was
well.
amazing.
So just for live
shows, definitely the Rev.
Yeah. Even the drummer for Atreyu too. I don't know his name, but he sings and plays as well.
He's good.
And Mastodon too. Mastodon.
Yes.
Brad Taylor.
He's good.
Yeah.
But Seven Dust drummer.
Oh yes. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
stuff
Morgan
right there.
Rose.
He is just. I mean, that in his live show is just. He's just like messing around. It's like he's not even trying. He's just like, doesn't give a crap. But
This
it's like,
sounds good. Let's do this.
he sings back up too. So
yeah, and the new song, Dirty. The new song, I love that one. That one's so good.
Oh yeah, the one you're playing.
Yeah, that's a banger.
That's like one of my favorite bands is Seven Dust. So.
So now I'm kind of curious now when in Portland or Washington, because you do a couple cover tunes. And
well, actually, we just did one.
And I'm just kind of curious how they went over.
Well, for the tour, like the whole tour, actually everything but one show, we played our cover of Sweet Dreams. And so actually I think it's a good thing, when we play at least one, because that's something that everybody can relate to. Like, oh yeah, I know that song. Well, let me hear how their version of it, how it goes. Yeah. So, it was scary though because we played the Hawthorne and we couldn't play covers there. Right. We're like, all right, gotta switch it up. Gotta switch it up. Yeah.
They had a note at every single monitor station that said, "You cannot play covers if you play a cover. We will stop you and we will escort you out of the building. Literally, like we're done with your set."
What was the deal with that?
Because they probably don't pay BMI or ASCAP.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah. They probably owe them some cash.
Oh, is Tiff chiming in?
Yeah, I just seen a thing from Tiff. I do want to give you guys a shout. We have I scrolled down and scrolled up, but we have a lot of people that are like chiming into the Facebook Live right now. So I just want to. It's kind of hard to.
We have questions.
If you had there's a couple questions, but if you do have questions, go ahead and chime in that. But I do want to say that people are just like viewing. Yeah, some people don't like to put out questions. Maybe they go kind of shy.
Don't be shy, guys. Don't be shy.
But I do want to appreciate, and I'm sure that the bands appreciate that you guys are chiming in. So it's awesome. Love you guys.
Absolutely.
See, God damn it! I did hit a wall again. What? See, I'm reaching with JJ's age and. It just happens.
Their cover songs were amazing. Their cover of Sweet Dreams.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, it sounded
Awesome.
flawless. Like
It's my favorite cover of that ever.
It's really,
It's
really
awesome.
good. Really
So
good.
now, did you guys? Oh, that's what it was. I'm back. Hello.
You're welcome.
I'm back.
Now, did you the trade off as far as like what band played before the other as you went through, or did you just look here, we're just going to do it like this? It's going to be a lot easier because
we pretty much just did. Dianthus played and then we played, and then up north, if there was another band, they played before Dianthus. So if it was a local band, they opened, and then Dianthus, and then us.
So then most of it was just the you two bands playing then, yeah?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the shows were just the two of us.
Yeah, we had a Pill Brigade join us on a couple of shows. They're like an industrial band.
They were
pretty cool.
super industrial.
They're really fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
So now you guys obviously have just like you have a pre-programmed thing that plays, right?
Well, we have we are very track heavy, as I think most industrial bands are. But we also had, live drums, and for up north, at least in the Pacific Northwest, we had 2 guitars. So our producer came with us playing guitar, and then a good friend of ours who tours with me in another band named Sky Warden, he was able to step in and play guitar on 5 of the shows.
And then Derek was on bass.
And I played bass on most of the shows, and some of the shows I didn't.
I just jump around like a crazy mascot.
Okay, so you sing,
Awesome. It was a great
you
show.
sing and do bass.
I sing and do bass, yeah.
But then you had a live drummer.
Yep,
Yeah, live
live drums. Yeah.
Okay, that's
So-
the one thing I noticed on the album. It's pre-programmed.
Yeah, I did all the programming of the drums on the album.
To me, I like live drums.
And I like live drums
It
too.
really helps bring the energy.
I would
and the
imagine
audience
that.
loves
To that
too.
music, I would like to hear with a live drummer.
Well, if
probably bring out
if you're
a
coming
lot
out
of
to
cool
the
shit.
if you're coming out to the show, then you'll be able to hear.
Well,
we
what
were-
show are you guys doing? Oh, tomorrow?
All the shows.
Yeah, all the shows.
All the shows have live
Got 3
drums.
more.
I'm
we
so
were, yeah.
dead after this weekend. Oh God, I played.
We'll go live for you.
Yeah, we were back and forth all weekend, and then the show up here, and then working. I have my own business I run, so
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, I'm like running like a chicken with his head cut off all day.
We were
Right.
super lucky. Like, we didn't know exactly how we were going to run our live set up until probably about 10 days before we left for the tour.
Yeah.
I thought we would probably end up having to run live tracks for everything, and Kate and I would basically be the front man, woman, and maybe we would be lucky enough to have guitar on half the shows. But what ended up happening was we reached out to our buddy Decker, who plays for a band called Stitched Up Heart, and he tours with Davey Suicide and a few other bands, and he just happened to be available, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I could totally do those dates."
Oh, cool.
Hey, I got a
He's a
15.
great drummer,
He's like,
he's
"I got a
great
15
energy.
passenger van too.
Yeah.
You guys want to just throw your shit in my van?"
Yeah,
so
it.
yeah,
I was
Not a twofer, but
I was
it was
hoping to
amazing.
hear that. 'Cause,
Yeah,
I mean,
it was amazing.
I'm one that's like I don't like fake drums.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really tell too much. I mean, you could tell on the album, but it sounds good. But live,
Yeah.
gotta have that drummer.
Well, that's how
And
I feel
that
too, man.
Makes
I mean,
a big impact on the live show too. Because if it's just used to stand up there with a keyboard, it just
You're gonna
doesn't have
have
that
downtime
energy.
between each song.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you
if
have a
you're
live
talking to the
band, it's like,
audience,
it just-
you've got a drummer behind
yeah.
you that's like
absolutely.
and just like
Yeah.
helping you out with the energy. So
Yeah.
yeah. And Decker is great.
Yeah,
he was awesome.
no,
His
that's
energy's
cool to
great.
hear. You know,
Yeah.
that- I was hoping that was the case.
yeah. No. I mean, we've even been talking about like, I mean, on this tour, it's gone great having the full band scenario. Where at one point we had 2 guitars and bass and drums and 2 vocals, so it was like a full sound. Plus we had tracks and everything,
Yeah.
filling it out. But we're talking about, because we have a bunch of Europe stuff booked for this next year already, and we're playing the biggest goth industrial festival in Europe, in Germany, called Wave Gothic Treffen in June. We booked that, and then we're also booking a bunch of stuff around that where we'll be in Germany, Turkey, France. We've got there's all kinds of stuff that is in development right now.
Nice.
But if we're going over there, we're talking about Charles basically like DJing for us, having live drums, and then just us being frontmen. And so there's not going to be any live guitar or bass or anything, just like heavy tracks, heavy drums, and just like
Sick.
singing
That would-
like crazy.
That
you
would
know?
work too. See, but
Yeah.
the drums.
Drums are the thing for me too, man.
The things that get
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
jumping and crazy in a live situation are drums and vocals.
Dude, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to hear. I want to
guitar
hear
is
live.
cool. I mean, it's nice to see a guitar player do it, but it's like if in your case, like I hear in your stuff too. I hear a lot of Union Underground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like them, so that's I heard it and I was like, I hear a little bit of that in there.
Yeah.
And it's cool, but to have that live vibe with the drums and the vocals, yeah, that's what gets people pumped and jumping and
Absolutely.
just going nuts.
Well, I mean, it's funny because I mean, if you listen to like what's popular on the radio right now, literally all you hear is like drums and vocals,
Exactly.
and there's like some bass in there occasionally.
Yeah, you're lucky if you get
Yeah.
guitar.
Occasionally, yeah, guitar maybe, yeah.
I really like how you guys were exploring your options though, because that's kind of like how we were, because like we had like a 3-piece band, then we had a 4-piece band, so it's healthy to do that. It's
Yeah, you
healthy
guys are
to
in the
hear
same
your sound.
situation, but at least
Yeah.
you guys have drums and guitar and vocals there.
Right, like the
True.
core
So
of
no
the
matter
band
what,
is like,
even if you have
right there.
backtracks for
Yeah.
whatever else, it's like you have the drums and that. So
Right.
Yeah, it's
to me, that's all you need. Like if you're in a short-handed situation, You got to at least have drums and vocals, and you can do tracks for the rest.
Exactly.
Live.
And for a while too, like before we were able to like lock in with our tracks as well, we were playing shows like as a 2-piece, like with nothing, like at all. And like, you know, it worked, but you can
like
obviously tell there's no
It
bass.
was
Didn't sound very punk rock. It was just very raw.
Yeah, that'd be. What did you guys do at the fair?
That was definitely not tracked at all. It was just drums.
Just
And the
drums
thing that
and
sucked
guitar
was-
and vocals?
Yeah, it was just that. And then we had that dang drum shield. I'm not.
I can't stand that.
The drum shield.
Yeah, on Saturday they were trying to, because we played this new club in Indio, and it's kind of like the Hard Rock. It was called the Big Rock.
The Big Rock. Okay.
It's a nice place, really cool place to play, but they're like worried about volume, and I'm a hard hitter, so
I don't think that even does anything.
it was like
Shoots it up.
yeah. Well, it shoots back at you, and especially they'll do it at like when we play what's that casino in Highland. San Manuel. When we play San Manuel, they always would put, before they got this electronic piece of crap set that they have now, they'd always put a drum shield in front of every drummer, and it's like they have a brick wall behind you, so it's going to bounce right off the shield at the brick wall and right forward.
Pain.
So I'm like, it makes no sense to put a shield there because it's just going to bounce right back and into the crowd. It doesn't matter what you put there. And I told them that, and they're like, yeah, we need to get an electronic set. I'm like, but then, you know, live, when the bigger bands, when the huge bands play, you know, they'll put them on a drum riser and have regular live drums, and there's no shield, no nothing. It's like, well,
it cuts off the live show feel, because then you feel like you're cut off from your band. I was just like,
Yeah, you feel totally isolated.
Yeah.
I hate it.
but it's good money to play there, so I'm like,
Right, you can't
I can't say no.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
I think
having the
those-
shield is horrible.
I think it should only be
slide
for
bars.
recording
We should ban
purposes
those.
because, you know, and then you have to have at least a soundboard behind you so it doesn't reverb back to the mic.
Well, the slide
other
bar
than
too.
that,
slide bar too?
The slide bar does it.
Is that a new
Well,
thing?
you guys
'Cause I
play.
think
You guys
before-
play in the
play
front room,
back.
right?
Yeah, you
We
play
play
in the inside
You
room.
play in the,
Not the outside patio.
yeah. We play in the
Yeah.
patio,
Oh, okay.
so they always put a drum shield in front of me.
Gosh.
It
Yeah.
sucks.
It's the worst, and then the reflection looks weird, and like, who is that back there?
Yeah.
It's tough too for me because, like, you know, when I'm trying to communicate
can't
with her,
hear.
I can't
And you-
hear and I can't see her because there's a glare from the audience, and it's
Oh yeah, no. Like when we had Joey Tafoya in the band, it was like he was kept looking back at me and he couldn't hear anything, so he'd have to like peek around and play right on the side of me just to be able to hear me. But I said, that's why you need inners, buddy.
yeah, and there's save the day, definitely.
Yeah, but see, you guys are twins, so you guys already know where you're at
Well, true.
from the get go.
No question
Even
about
if we're
inners.
blind, we could like still reach.
I think Jackie could be in Los Angeles and Jess could be in New York and just play the same song, right?
Yeah,
Now, do you guys all use in-ears?
We do now.
just recently started working with him.
Isn't that a world of difference?
Yeah, totally.
Especially for you, yeah.
Especially,
Absolutely.
well, like both of us, like for me, vocal wise, like it's like when I had earplugs, I was on earplugs.
No.
I couldn't even hear myself. I had to push extra hard.
I
you know,
can't
trying
wait to get in ears. That's
You
why
don't
I
have
kept
in-ears?
sticking my finger in my ear a couple of times. I'm like, I got to test my pitch. I
No,
can't
you
hear.
got to get
Right.
in-ears. I
And
mean,
then
it's
next-
it's
life
it's a
changing.
world of
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have wireless in ears because those are crazy expensive, but I do have the wire that goes in.
Nice.
So, right.
No, but JJ, do that again because you're on YouTube. Do that again.
No, that
So this is what JJ saying. Hey Zig, where's the key? I need to go pee.
there's someone in there. Go
Oh,
knock.
no,
Derek's
no,
saying, Derek's
no,
saying.
hey.
Tarek's in there.
Here's what he
Yeah, you
needs.
got to use the ladies' room.
No, he doesn't because I have the key to the men's
Oh,
room.
snap.
Oh, you still have it.
So I just went. That's why. Where
you-
do you think I went?
Jackass.
So the JJ's got to go tinkle.
Oh, you goody teen.
You gotta go tinkle
Oh,
with JJ.
catch.
No, last show, I was just being stupid. So I, they have this all LGBT thing. I'm not trying to make fun of people. I just think it's kind of weird. So last show, me and it came up, and then Alina's like, oh, I'll go in the girls' restroom. Oh, and so then I started having, I gotta go tinkle. Yeah, and then we did the whole Facebook thing. I had my phone on and everything on Facebook. then I'm working with one of the instructors this weekend. Well, I still wasn't working with him, but he's on the instructor. He walks up. He's like going, "Hey, dude, come here real quick, man." And I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, maybe I screw something up." He's like going, "Dude, you going to pee in the ladies' room, dude? That was hilarious." So maybe I need to do it again.
Yeah. Well, the point of the whole thing was, that you're trying to make it a funny thing. And it's like it's kind of. It's ridiculous that, like, especially like fathers got to worry about their daughters going in a bathroom with some potential creep that might be in there that's pretending to be some transgender guy.
Yeah, like Silva JJ. You know what? Grab the girl's key.
Yeah.
But, situation.
Yeah, it can be kind of creepy thinking about it, because I've got daughters and it's like, I don't want to worry about that. But, in like a one bathroom thing, like, who cares? Make it whatever, whoever can go. But it's like, I don't.
Yeah.
There's genuine people that will not make that a creepy thing, and then there's creeps that will try to take advantage of that, and that's the ones you got to worry about.
Yeah, I'm one of those creeps. I go into the men's restroom and I check out all the dudes and.
You see,
how's it hanging?
With that.
Hey, just go down the line. How's it hanging?
Sorry.
I'm like, how you doing?
I'm sorry.
Okay, let me. See,
I'm not talking about girls. Girls aren't the worry. It's the guy. The guys that are trying to pretend they're like born as women or something.
No.
Those are the creeps.
Check it out. Here I am. I'm in the men's restroom. Kato walks in, and I'm like going, this is going to be very, very interesting to watch you squat on a urinal.
Why would I squat on a urinal?
No, they have shitters there.
Yeah, I'd wait.
Hey, wait for the shitters.
No, you can't. No, you can't. No,
Do they have
no one's going to squat in here.
Do they have as many
I'm
stalls?
just saying. I mean,
as
come
they do in the women's, though.
The scary thing would be if she was standing and doing it.
They have stalls. I was trying to be funny.
Yeah.
I'm not going to squat.
Because it would be funny to see you go to the restroom in a urinal. I think that would be hilarious.
No, I just stand there and be a creeper. Just stand there, wait.
Just watch.
Wait for a stall.
Just lying in wait. Ready to.
Hey, dude, you're shaking that too much. Just want to say.
You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
Straight judging you?
3 times more. Yeah, you're playing with it, buddy.
They make pee mates so girls can pee in the urinal.
All right, my cousins are inside here, man.
There's a product called pee mates.
We went from PG-13, now we're going into R.
So
to bathrooms.
And see, now Derek's like going, oh, shit, I just walked in and they're ending
He
it.
just took off the other way. He's like, screw this.
How old are you
outta
guys
here.
again?
22.
20. So they're adults. What are you doing?
I'm not
You're making them seem like they're 13 years
I'm not
old.
saying
Come
they're little
on.
girls. I'm just saying.
Well, we do have
know,
very young fans, so.
Yes.
So you're putting the weight on the fans?
Yeah.
Well, just kidding.
Their parents could be watching.
Trying to make this okay, because we're gonna have Derek and Kato on, another time.
Yeah, but
Gotta creep it cool.
Because I can see where she goes.
Creep it cool.
She and Derek are just like me. You're going down a straight road, and all of a sudden you make a sharp right, and you make another sharp right. So I'm just saying.
Just never know.
That should be in our intro. For the Zig Zone.
Oh, right.
Going down a road. Then you make a sharp right.
Sharp right.
Now, what studio did you guys record your album in?
We recorded it at home.
Did you really?
Yeah, I recorded everything on Logic and did all the programming and everything there.
And then we redid a couple of tracks
we had
at Callahan Studios.
Yep, we had our good friend Seth, Liz Scarlett from the Fame Ride that we played with up in Seattle, and he came down and stayed 2 weeks with us, and he heard all the vocal tracks that I recorded, and he was like, "Yeah, now we're fucking recording those again." He's like, "That's not
That's
good."
what friends are for.
So yeah, he brought a really nice mic down, and we re-recorded all the vocal tracks in our little studio at home, and he did most of the mixing there, and we swapped out some drum tones there and a few other things, and then he took it back with him, and within a few weeks he had all the mixes done on the album, and then we met Charles, and of course he redid Turn Up the Hate and I Feel, and he did significant work to those. So
well, when you do go into a studio, things become a lot better.
Yeah.
Like if you look at like my business, in my motorcycle shop, there's a lot of customers that will like, do like the basic kind of stuff themselves. But, if there's something that really can be like, say if they do a performance mod, they put a pipe on and then they want to kind of like make a little performance mods. Well, okay, you did this, but I can still make your bike, at least 10 to 20% faster. And that's how that works, when Pro Tools first came out, when I was in a band called Bellevue, we recorded the first two albums on Pro Tools, and actually the second two albums on Pro Tools, but ended up going into the studio and refining everything. Didn't change anything, as far as the recording way, we didn't go back and record anything, but they had to refine it, set the levels and blah blah blah. But you can do a lot of stuff at home now.
You can, and
without.
It's funny because like at the beginning of DK0, like we weren't even sure that it was gonna be what it ended up becoming. Like we literally just started writing songs because we needed to scream at somebody about a bunch of shit. We were just angry. So
it was a good outlet.
That's why it started, and that's why we did it in home, and then. When it got to a point where we were like, oh man, we could probably release this. That's when we brought some help in. we were like, all right, help us out, because I don't know where I'm at right now. This is my first.
I
time
did the same thing at home. I made a studio at my old house in Ontario, soundproofed the whole, garage and sealed it and everything, and then all we had is those 2 ADAT recorders. They're 8 tracks.
Oh yeah.
So it was like a digital but still analog kind of sound, and we recorded everything ourselves. Just kept mixing down, and we mastered it at a studio. And then I sent a CD to KLOS. They had that Local Licks back then. This was like 2001, and they took it right on. Kelly Cox called me like a week later and said, "Oh, we're going to be on tonight at 10. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's awesome.
Really?
That's so cool.
So they, did the whole interview and everything. And so I recorded it, that whole thing on KLOS on a cassette tape when it was playing through the radio. And I did, ripped it to MP3, and I still have that file on.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, it was recorded in my goddamn garage.
That's so awesome.
That's such an accomplishment,
Yeah, so sometimes you don't need the professional just to get noticed about something. So you do what you can.
Well, KNAC had the same thing.
Exactly.
We called it the Kanak attack back in the day, and when a band I was in 1990, Tiger Bay, we did it on a Tascam.
The old 4-track.
The little 4-track. Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you know that Trent Reznor still tours with a Tascam?
Does he really?
Dude, yeah. No, his main guy, the weird sound guy, the guy that has like that arsenal of like keyboards and the weird touch guitar thing. Have you seen his setup?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It is insane. He's got these crazy 2 of them. They're these boards that are lined up like guitars, and you touch them, and you can create chords, and then you can just slide your hand across them and move chords. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
Nice.
But one of the things he does is he has an old Tascam 4-track, and he has all bounced out recorded guitar parts for all of the songs, and he puts them on the Tascam 4-track, and he basically tunes them to the note that it is in the song. So he basically, do you know how you can tweak the
right.
speed of the tape? He tweaks the fucking guitar tones live.
Wow.
While they're playing. So that it goes like from this key to that key, back to this key. And so when you hear, there's a live version of when they did the, what's the last album they released? It was in 2013. They Staples Center. There's a live recording of their show for Apostrophe. Is that the name of the album?
Yeah,
I think it's called Apostrophe. Anyways, you can hear how he's tweaking those guitars because they're not quite perfect. But it's cool. It's cool as shit.
Yeah, we did an album on the Tascam, and recorded in, I did my drums in my bedroom, and then and what have you, and did all this recording, and then sent it into KNAC, and they had the local lick thing, I don't know if I'm getting the you can help me out on this one, Scott, where it was like metal shop. Was that KLOS or was that KNEC?
That I think was KNEC. If it was metal, it was KNEC.
Yeah, so it came on like it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and but when I heard, we're all sitting there, we're partying, and we're smoking pot and drinking, and it was like after like we played like either like the Roxy or Gazaris or something like that, and after party, then all of a sudden we're listening to KNEC, and then boom, our song comes on. It's like, oh shit, it sounded like crap, but it was like shit. We're on the radio.
That's so awesome.
Oh, it's like we went to when I went to go see. Oh God, it was at the Riverside, the RMA in Riverside.
The auditorium,
yeah, and I went there to see. What was it? It wasn't Breaking Benjamin. It was.
You mean the same place you and I? We met.
Yeah.
Otsko.
I think it was that concert. Was that Breaking Benjamin we went to?
I think that was Breaking Benjamin. Yeah.
Okay.
You were there. Yeah.
I don't think it was that one. I think it was the one before. It was
Queensryche?
No, not Queensryche. No. Goddamn.
Wait,
anyway,
year was this?
but Daryl from 103.9 was there because after they went under, he has this dirty radio show, which is like kind of like ours, online, and. As soon as I walk in the place, Day Zero is cranking on the radio in front of everybody. I'm like, holy shit. No way. What timing is that?
Right?
That's cool.
And I was like, that's so cool.
That's amazing.
I'm here, everybody.
Yeah.
I have arrived.
It was just really weird. It was like, he didn't even know. And then he saw me. I said, did you plan this? And he goes, no, I didn't even know you're here. It's like, holy shit.
That's cool.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
That is a great venue to play too.
Yeah, no, that's a great.
Not to play. I've never played there. It's a great venue to watch a band. Me and Oscar just went and seen. Shoot.
Her favorite band, right?
That's a good name for a band.
Osco.
The one in Hollywood? Is it that one?
Or at the municipal.
They're out.
Where did she
Oh,
go?
They're going to get us some shirts.
At the army.
No. Alice in Chains.
Oh.
Nice.
How was it?
Man. Oh man.
When
I'm
did you see
telling you.
them?
This was beginning of last month.
Okay.
All right, September. I think it was.
What did I miss?
Ready?
September.
Alice in Chains?
Yes, Alice in Chains. No, we're talking about the Riverside Auditorium.
Oh, cool.
They saw Alice in Chains there.
So cool.
Oh, cool.
Wow, just phenomenal. I mean, it's obviously without
It's tough without Lane Staley.
yeah without
But
Staley there. It's just
No, the new
nuts.
guy is.
But he's really really good.
He's really
solid,
good, and he's a
man.
really nice
Really
guy
good.
too. Me and Tiff met him at NAMM at the same year. We have like the same picture in the same area, and we didn't even know each other.
Wow.
Isn't that creepy?
That's
You know what
That's like really
I like about, I can't think of his name, but what I like is that he doesn't try to stray off and make it his own. He tries. He does
replicates
his
it
best
very
makes
well.
an effort.
to
Yeah.
do just like Staley. Just not let me try to change anything out, and that. Yeah, it really made it was a great show. I was really just super impressed. I've never seen them before, and so
they're
I've never
great
seen
band,
Staley. The original. It's like God. But at least I can say seen Queen. That was my very first concert. Queen and Billy Squier at the Forum, 1979.
Billy
Oh my
Squier.
gosh.
Yeah. Look at this, Jared knows Billy Squier. And, I have a song in my head. I'm going to say what's the first remembrance of Billy Squier? Name the song.
I have a few in my head. I have a few in my head
He's
too.
too young.
Go ahead.
Okay, there's My Kind of Lover, and then there's Everybody Wants You.
Okay.
And then there's one more.
The Strokes.
There you go.
See, I
That's
thought
the one
that's
everybody
what he
knows.
was going to say. I got to say, stroke me.
Yeah.
Our elementary fifth grade teacher, he was blasting Billy Squier, so I mean ever since fifth grade.
Same with Over the Foreigner too.
It was Foreigner, and then he had like I don't know random country stuff, but Billy Squier stood out.
And he just fell off the face of music. Just boom, he was here and he was
He
gone,
died.
just like that.
Yeah.
Haven't heard anything about that guy. Are you ready? Come on.
Oh,
I love this.
I'm always ready. I was
Procrastinator.
I'm just still in
But JJ's back there.
right. Cheers for JJ.
Cheers, y'all.
We gotta talk about Halloween. Halloween's coming up.
Yeah.
Any
Are you
spooky plans?
are you dressing up?
We are definitely dressing up.
You guys didn't
What are you
dress-
wearing? What are you dressing up?
It's a surprise.
You guys didn't do show.
No, it can't be a surprise. It's already out right now.
Yeah, because the thing is, you brought it up, so now you have to tell us what
Are
you're
you,
going to dress
are
up
you
as.
dressing up?
I low-key want to tell you guys what we're going to be. It's funny.
Well, it's been done before, but I'm gonna be Chucky and she's gonna be the bride.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's going to be Chucky and
Nice.
Jessica, right? Not Jackie.
It was tough because like we want to do like a sister friend type of costume because like a couple years ago we did the Shining twins. And then
that's cool.
and then last year I was I was Pennywise and she was Carrie. So we did like a Stephen King kind of thing. So this year we'll
But I mean,
do
we
another.
wanted to do the Tweedledee and Tweedledrum. Like we wanted to be like.
Oh, there you go.
You guys should do
Like,
that.
next year maybe.
What's that one? The Ring.
Oh, the ring.
Yeah.
We should
Yeah.
seriously.
My girlfriend's sister did that one year, and she has like really long, because she's aged obviously too. She has a really long hair, and she had it in her face and all that, and she did the move and all that stuff, and people were just freaking out.
Yeah, and that's a simple costume.
But if there was two of you doing it, that'd be even creepier.
That would be so creepy.
Yeah, it's funny. Kato actually put like a boomerang of like our show one time, and you look like possessed. You're like just like repeatedly. I think you could do that more often. Yeah, she's like headbanging like constantly.
What are you going to dress up as, G?
I know.
I don't know yet. I don't know. Maybe
Because that's going to be our last show?
maybe
no,
the Predator.
not last.
Maybe I'll do Predator. Yeah.
Got a couple days to figure it out.
Couple days.
Yeah, me, I can't, because I drum, I can't do that stuff live, so all I do is just put the eyes in. But I did, I was looking, I normally wear the whiteouts, but one of my
That's
whiteouts was
cool.
missing. So I had a pair of blackouts. So I did one blackout, one whiteout.
nice.
People were
How's
just
that?
like creeping out, like, oh, don't even look at me. So I did that on Friday and Saturday.
That's awesome.
But
That's cool enough.
everyone else was dressed like my keyboard player. He was dressing up. He did Saturday. He was Beetlejuice, and
Very cool.
he was like this 70s hippie guy on Friday.
Okay. Polar opposite. Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, it was kind of fun, at our show at the Manette last week. Yeah, there was a bunch of. It was kind of like a costume party too, wasn't it? Freak Fest. Yeah.
Freak
so
Fest,
there's a bunch of costumes, and like even the band playing the Fame Riot, they were dressed up as well. So
Nice.
It was the Princess Bride, right? That's what Liz was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was the Princess Bride. Yeah. As you will.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
The girls in DK are playing in Grand Terrace tomorrow. Yeah.
Tomorrow at 8:00.
See, look how
Free.
here's what I love about Otsko. When you tell her something and she doesn't know, she gets very surprised. Tomorrow, I love her expression, honey.
What time do you guys go on?
Honey.
We play
Well,
at 9 o'clock.
9
So we
o'clock.
play at 9. The first band's at 8.
I have to make sure that, since she's here, because if I sit there and I just like show up at you guys' gig and then I start posting pictures on Facebook, it'll be like going, "Where you didn't invite me?"
Where's the invite?
So
Now you've been invited
So are
on
we,
air.
are we going tomorrow, Otsko? Okay, sounds good. So see, now I just saved face. So you see, you'll definitely see me there. If you don't see her there, I still save face, right?
There you go.
Oh, no way.
Thank you.
I do a Dianthus.
And then actually, there's
Excel? Okay.
Heck yeah.
Oh, hang on to my
Got a Dianthus shirt.
Nice.
hang on.
Thank you, guys.
I don't want to put it on right now. See, I would put it on right now, but I don't have the body for it.
Sure you do. Sure you do.
You guys don't want to see me take my shirt off.
Zig.
Otsko's the only one that can tolerate me naked, or at least half naked.
Anybody in the body shaming.
But
Oh, it looks good on you.
no, I wouldn't.
we should take a model picture
Everything
right
looks
now.
good on her. Everything looks good on her.
Seriously, it looks so good. Rocking our merch. Repping the merch.
Shit, I did it again.
What is the name of the other
Yeah,
band
I
that's
had-
playing tomorrow?
They're called Caligula Dance Party.
Okay,
I'm not sure where Caligula stems from.
Caligula stems from old Roman times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Roman porn or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's like the Roman. That's like a Roman rave. Is what it was.
Yeah,
basically.
I think they're kind of like metal, so it's kind of like Dance Gavin Dance again.
So are they opening? Is that they're the first
opening.
band on, and then you guys, and then
Yeah.
DK?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, the guy that's in that
Okay.
band works there.
Oh, you didn't
too,
even know
so-
that?
Yeah.
Derek's like, nice.
Well, I saw Caligula. I saw Caligula on the poster, and I'm like, all right, is this either going to be really freaky, based on what I know about this? Or...
No. What I said is okay. So it's going to be Caligula, then it's going to be you guys, and then it's going to be you guys.
I thought that maybe Caligula was going to be closing
and
it
she
out.
says,
So,
and then you're like going, oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So.
Cool, we're playing last. All right.
He's just gonna be there early. And just let me know when I want to go on. You know, we're all good to go.
We usually arrive pretty early for all our shows.
We
and then
usually
we just hang out, do some stretches, and drink way too much vodka, and then we go on stage.
And it's fun.
It's
And it all works out.
So I had a question, and it's for the girls, and I mean it's obviously it's a a personal preference thing. But, I was kind of curious when or if you guys were ever going to sit in the ink chair.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We always get asked this question, like if we would ever get tattoos. But I don't know. I'm pretty scared of needles. So.
The thing is, I mean, I think it would look cool, but the thing is, we are just like chicken when it comes to that stuff. But, I think we should try the app where we just get a whole bunch of tattoos.
I sharpied a bunch of stuff on myself first before I got tattooed, and I got my first tattoo when I was like 32. So yeah.
It's like piercings or tattoos.
32.
I'm 35.
And she looks.
Oh, get the fuck out of here!
That's a lie.
Oh, so he's like my age then. Oh, okay.
yeah, it's the eye dropping. Stay fresh.
I don't know if I would ever get one. I don't know.
Once you get one though, it's like Tiff, my girl, she doesn't have one, and she wants one, and it's once you get one, but she has a high tolerance of pain, so she'd be fine. But once you get one, it doesn't stop.
Yeah,
it doesn't stop.
You can just get henna.
Unless it's black work, and then you're like, no, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
Well,
that hurt like hell. I'm never gonna do that again. And then, I need another one.
Yeah, we're already planning more. Yeah.
Mark.
Well, actually, I mean, because I know what it's like to do. Like, was that a 5 needle? That when you had
this
that
was
done?
a 25 needle. This was a 25 shot.
That's
and
a
it was like
thick
3
one.
hours per session.
Yeah.
It went over it twice, and I was getting skinned alive. It was like the worst pain of my life.
Yeah, it's
But
like
I have a
someone
very
breaking.
low pain threshold. I'm a total pussy, so.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no. The arms aren't that bad, but like the wrist, like that wrist. This hurts like a son of a bitch.
saying, like this part right here. I was like, no.
Do you have Do you have any of your calves done?
I don't yet.
The calves are. Oh my God, the calves hurt like hell.
But like yours, I have a lot of dark,
I know that looks really cool.
So, and I did this whole thing, and it goes all the way up to the back of my neck. It's all in one session. It was 9 hours.
One session. With the shading and everything.
Yeah, no, not this, none of this. I'm just saying the tribal part.
Oh,
this was all done in one session. It worked around what I already had on there, and my arms look like.
Did it
just
balls?
Swollen up, and like,
oh man,
you know what I mean? Dragging my knuckles on the ground. Oh, and get this, and then the night. I had my boys over for the week, the weekend. It was my weekend with them, and so I had it done on a Friday. And obviously, you go to bed, and next day it's worse.
Yeah.
Right. The skin's very sensitive. Your endorphins are gone, and so went to bed. And my younger son at this time, he was only, I think he was 7, and he sleepwalks, and he talks in his sleep. He can sit up. Like really spooky, creepy shit. You know what I mean? But he can literally walk around the house, and just do whatever. I mean, I've woken up, not woken up, but I may get up to use the restroom, and I hear G around in the kitchen, so I walk out there, and he'll just be inside there, just doing whatever.
Like asleep,
completely asleep.
Oh my God.
And then walk back and then go right to bed. Or if he starts talking in his sleep, you can actually start talking to him and he'll talk back to you.
Oh wow!
It really tripped out.
Subconscious mind.
And at 7, he's doing this.
Yes.
This is like,
so
wow.
now, and now one of the things he does is that when he gets very active when he's sleeping, so like when you see a dog, like when tell what dogs run, dreaming because they sit there and they feel like this,
They
right?
start kicking. It's so cute.
So he'll do stuff like that. So. He did this twice to me when I had this side done. I had this side done. I don't know what he was dreaming about, but somebody like pissed him off, and he went to go hit somebody, man, and he smacked my arm.
Oh shit!
And I was dead asleep, man. I talk about waking up really quickly, dude. Like, whack. I'm like, oh my God, and then he's just sitting there like blah blah blah, talking to Robbie or whatever,
Whoever it was he was mad at.
Yeah, when he was mad, I'm like, oh my God, and I'm stepping out of bed, and I'm just like going, oh my God, but he didn't like punch it, he smacked it.
Oh, dude, that's just like
burns.
Oh my goodness, yeah,
man.
Dude, it took me like 3 hours to go back to sleep.
Oh,
you know?
Your endorphins are just like. Fuck.
Right? Shoot, one time, I don't know what kind of dream he was having, but he was getting in a fight with somebody, man, and I was just dead asleep. And when he was younger, he always wanted to sleep with me. And he belted me, man. All I know is I was dead asleep, and it was a big flash in my face, But what the hell? Dotted me in the eye, and then I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, oh, okay, let me let him go back to sleep, because you don't want to wake anybody up. It's supposed to be like really bad, like shock him or something. Mm-hmm. So next morning, I get up to use the restroom, and where I was living at the time, there was a mirror in front of the toilet. I have no idea, but I look up, and here I am with the black eye.
Oh my God.
I'm like, oh well, shit, But yeah, so I know what that's like. You have what else do you have besides what you got in your arms?
So I just have
It goes
bands,
up,
and
yeah.
then just this one, and I'm gonna get my fingers banded next.
Very nice.
I want to be a human lemur at some point. I want to be a ring-tailed lemur.
Oh, awesome!
And my legs, no.
Because I was going to say, hey,
someone just sent her a lemur tail in the mail, actually.
Just do it right now.
Yeah. Someone sent you a lemur tail today.
I got a lemur tail in the mail today.
Did you really?
Yeah, you clipped it onto my jammies.
Yeah,
I ran around the house.
She's running around with this lemur tail in her
my
arm.
My terrier's jumping up, trying to bite the tail. Like,
isn't that what's on your profile pic on Instagram too? Oh, okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, my Instagram.
Like, what's the meaning behind it?
I think it would be awesome. I think it'd be awesome since we have Facebook Live, we have YouTube.
Yeah.
I think when you and your sister decide to finally get ink, I think we should do it in house here.
Oh,
like so it's live.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
We should have Manny come.
I will have.
We should.
Oh man.
I'll have. You have an inker.
Mm-hmm. We have a favorite tattoo artist we like to work with. His name is Manny Landry. Manny Landry. He lives up in Vancouver, BC.
Yeah, he's done all of our.
British Columbia. That's a long ways for him to come.
We fly him down here. He hangs out.
He did all of our stuff in our house though.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Hey,
super pro.
He's like, yeah, I'll come down and stand in the sun for a
That's
week.
An expensive That's an expensive tattoo. If you haven't come out from British Columbia,
well, I mean, we feed
but
him.
If he's good,
we feed him. We buy him a plane ticket. We feed him. He's okay.
He's cool. Does good work.
So it's just him that's done everything, all the tattoos.
Yeah, so I have like.
You haven't worked with anyone else.
No.
Davey actually.
So Davey did a redo on this one. I had like 11 hours of work, and this last band didn't really take, and it just kind of like blew out, and it was sticking to the bed sheets every day. It was disgusting. And after a few weeks of it healing, Davey did another pass on it. So yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some of Davey's tattoos. They're like really good too. Yeah.
I think Davey's gonna do my fingers for me.
I have a funny sleepwalking story.
Tell us your story.
No, it's not mine. It's not mine. But it's about somebody that we all know, including Dianthus.
Are you serious? No way.
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Great. Let's put somebody else you guys don't want blast.
Yes, we get to blast somebody else.
It only happens on the Zig Zone. We're going to do Dianthus and DKs. You're going to put somebody on blast.
We are going to blast someone right now. So you know Mason, the drummer for the Fame Riot?
Yes.
Okay, so I lived with him and Seth and Levi for a while, for like a year or so. And I didn't even know this whole sleepwalking thing and like doing things in your sleep was real until I moved in with them. And so we moved into this like really cool and yet kind of bizarre sort of flat in Tacoma, Washington, right? And it's at the top of this 3-story building. It's an old building. It was built in like maybe 1910 or something. And they went through and gutted it and redid the whole thing. And we're in like, I think what was originally the attic space. So it was like all fucked up. Like every room was just this bizarre sort of, the ceilings come down here and the door opens here and you duck here and you can get into this room. And then you can sleep there apparently. Right?
That's scary.
So we all choose, like we go in and there's like 4 of these little weird cubby rooms. So we all just choose a room. And there's only 3 of us at first, right? There's me, there's Seth. No, there's me, there's Levi, and there's Mason. Seth came in later, and he got one of the 4th rooms. But so there was an empty room for a while, and at the time I was selling wine and liquor and stuff in Seattle, and so I had like the biggest collection of wine and booze. Just hundreds and hundreds of bottles of wine, and
surplus.
So surplus, and just like at least 100 bottles of different types of booze, right? And of course, moving in with these 20-year-olds, they were like, this is amazing. So they're constantly raiding the booze cabinet. So one of the closets basically became a booze cabinet, and the other one was like, we all slept there. So Mason gets up in the middle of the night one night and apparently thinks that the booze closet is a bathroom. So he walks in.
Oh, he does not.
No, yes, he does. So he walks in, pisses in a corner next to like where the wine is, right? And then takes the rug that I had in there and just puts it over the top of it, and then goes back to sleep. And I wake up in the morning, I come in, and and I'm looking at this thing, and here's this rug. It's just like draped over the top of like a case of liquor that is soaked. And I'm just like, this is weird. Did it rain last night? And like maybe it leaked through, and I don't know, because like we just moved in. I'm like, I don't know what's happening, right? So I'm confused and whatever, and I get ready and I go to work and I grab all my stuff that I need and I leave and I come back and don't think too much of it, except the rug was in a bizarre place. Well, a couple more days go by, and apparently he goes back into the liquor room and pisses in another one of these things.
Oh my God!
And not only did he pee in it, but like he literally took the same rug and like tried to rub it out with the rug. So the rug is soaked with piss. Like the room's starting to smell now.
2
It's
days
the second time it's been pissed in.
I didn't know that you could
And so I like casually bring it up. I'm like, hey guys, have you noticed like has it been raining at night, or like is it like what's going on? Because like because like it's wet in this room, and so I bring everyone in like systematically one by one, like, hey, come check this out, right? And Levi's like, no, I don't know what's going on, and Seth was there, and he's like, well, I was sleeping on the couch, but I didn't see anything. I don't know. And Mason comes in and he was like, oh, well, I sleepwalk. And I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? Like, why is my shit wet? And why does it smell like piss? And he's like, I don't know. Maybe I thought it was the bathroom, and I peed on it. And he sort of just like,
well, at least he was man enough to admit it.
He was man enough to admit it, but like, I mean, here I am getting my shit pissed on for a couple.
My brother-in-law did the same thing. Dan did the same thing.
So now you have a story about Mason.
That is a good story. Yeah, some good background information.
No, my poor sister.
Hey,
they have a
really quick before you do that, because it says right here. It says Saskia Parker.
Oh, that's our little fan.
Yeah, sending love from the UK.
Sending love from the UK.
Oh, yay!
Oh, that's we love you. Fan page, yeah.
Yeah,
love you, Saskia. Right back.
Because she's the one that called in.
Yeah, she was in the called last time.
Yeah, that's right. Because she draws pictures of you guys. Saskia. Hi, Saskia. And it's late or early. It's.
What time is it there?
Early.
What time is it there?
8 hours ahead. So.
Kata would know. 8 hours. So.
It's like 4 in the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Early.
Okay. I just happened to see that, and when I see the name, yeah, she did right there.
Hope all's
sending
well.
love from the UK. So she's a sweetheart, and she actually called in.
Oh, did she really?
Yeah, she called in, and she was so like
shy. Yeah.
And we're like, hey, so we had to kind of get her motivated to talk, Such a sweetheart. Yeah. Same accent, But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no,
I just seen that, and I just want to.
I don't know if the sleepwalking and peeing stories has passed at this
I don't know.
We're all done with that.
Are we done with it?
Maybe Saskia is sleep Facebooking.
She's
Sleep booking.
She's sleepwalking.
Yeah.
Face walking.
Thank you for chiming in, Saskia. That's so very sweet of you, honey.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions from anyone?
where's the
I'll
callers
look,
at?
but you were gonna say, and I'll look see. If
My
you have
brother-in-law, so my sister has an ottoman. It's a
Oh, here we
storage
go.
ottoman with a lid. And he
Oh, no.
sleepwalked and decided to lift the lid and pee in the ottoman and put the lid back down too. I don't know how.
hard
Yeah,
to deal with that. That's insane.
Like that's a toilet lid.
right.
Just set up cameras in the house and just
Oh
see what
my
goes
God.
on, so you can find the
Oh,
culprit. He's peeing on the fridge.
That's hilarious.
Right.
I think we have more comments than anything. But
So we have-
but a buddy of mine, James Sander, from actually from the Frisco area, said I guess he was going back to what we were first talking about, like peeing in the urinal. He says, first thing I come into, squat into a urinal. So he's like, okay,
Radio show.
I'm chiming in, and now you're talking about a girl walking in and peeing and squatting in a
Yeah,
urinal.
you
What the
missed
hell?
that. Sorry, you missed
I
it.
missed the squatting one. Yeah.
Oh, you weren't even in here. He's like, oh shit. I got it back.
About me using men's
We're all like
restroom.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But
Easy.
damn it, and I did it again. I had the question right there.
We should have bullet
sleepwalking,
points.
urinals.
Yeah.
The sleepwalking thing.
Yeah.
I actually, you ever like when you had one of those long nights, like in your partying all along, and then you end up crashing out somebody's house,
Yeah.
right? And then like you wake up and you're like, where the hell am I?
That was me this morning.
Yes.
Oh, it was our
was
first
it?
day home from
that was at
touring the
home.
Northwest. I'm like,
Yeah.
where am I?
What time did you guys wake up? Because I woke up at 1.
So we went to sleep at like 2:30.
No, we went to
Okay.
sleep at 3
Okay, we went to sleep at 3.
In the
I went up at
afternoon.
4, yeah.
in the morning.
In the morning.
This morning.
Okay.
And
I woke up maybe 7 or 8. And I was
7.
like, where am I? Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was like, what hotel is this? Whose
Right.
living room is this? Yeah, I had no idea.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. There was like long slumbers.
confused.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
where am I? Disoriented.
Well, so I
Me too.
had one of those nights, and I had no idea where I ended up, and I had to use the restroom, and I'm like, wow, well, shoot.
How did I know that you had a story about you pissing
Where-
in someone's
Well,
house?
I mean, at least I didn't piss anybody's booze, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go outside. Okay, I have no idea where I'm at. I have no idea where the restroom's out. The house
Closet?
is complete black. Well, I played the safe.
Did you go in the closet?
It's a closet.
No, I played the safe card. I'm like going, okay, well, there's a porch light. I can see that that's outside. So let me just go outside, So I walk around, and then, I start doing my thing. Well, they had a motion light.
Oh, the rain thing.
And,
I have one of
and all of a sudden, all these lights come on.
Hello.
And next, I'm like standing out there, and it's like, there was still a party going on across the street, and here
Oh
I
my
am,
gosh.
and I'm all the lights come on. I'm like, look around, and I was like going, yeah, Well, I wasn't gonna stop, Hey, hey, what the hell? But it's like, what the hell? The last you want to see when you're like, trying to use the restroom, and all of a sudden the spotlight
There's
goes
an
on.
entire
Hey,
party with a
right?
spotlight pointed at you.
Oh my gosh. That's like
Yeah.
something out of a movie, really.
Really, exactly.
Or those dreams when you have a shirt but no pants on and you walk into
Like a classroom?
a grocery store or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the naked dreams, man. Those are like the worst.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Let's go.
Oh.
Hey, we have a question from a fan.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Nice.
Let's see.
Saskia's still listening. She said, is there any possibility of you guys touring the UK together?
Sure.
Yes, that's already a given.
They know somebody from there.
See, at least
Yes,
now,
we should.
See,
See,
now we got
UK
Kato.
stuff is like
Yep.
on its way. So yeah.
See, because Saskia
That'd be so
asked,
fun.
asked that the last time, and
And we didn't know, yeah.
and well, Well, because you guys you were planning this tour.
We're planning this one, yeah.
Yeah. So you were planning this one because believe it or not, that it hasn't been that long since you guys were on. I was looking up on the thing. It was only a few months ago.
Yeah, it's like 2, right? 2 months.
3 months ago. It was seven. I think I was looking up. It was like 7 something 2018.
Late July.
So yeah. And that's when she had called in. So you said, yeah, we're planning this tour and blah blah blah. And that's going to be on the go. And I think that's a great question. Again, Saskia, I think that is awesome. So, I mean, obviously, now you have somebody that's from the UK.
Yeah.
Which is
really awesome.
Which is really bitching
very
because
helpful.
you got family there.
Exactly.
And then I know, I already know, because Dutchie, who has the punk DJ, he has 2 shows on Kaotic Radio.
That's cool.
And he's a big punk guy. And I've talked to him, and he says how friendly the European people are. It's like they don't lock the doors. It's open invitation. So obviously, you don't have to worry about hotels or nothing like that because
Yeah, there you go. My family.
I'm kind of throwing cuddles in the bus right here, and then there's probably a little a couch or all I need is a pillow.
Plenty of couches.
There's plenty of couches to go around in the UK.
I'll be good to go.
That'd be awesome.
So I mean, So how far are we away from that? I mean, sometime during your guys' tours, hey, let's branch out. It would be so awesome.
I mean, if we're going to be playing Leipzig in Germany in July, then we should totally hit up the rest of Europe during August.
In July, that's a whole another year from now, almost a year.
It's not a year from now.
July?
Yeah.
I said almost.
It's
November right
7
now,
or
dude.
8 months. It's like 8 months away.
It's still October, Derek. Okay, Halloween.
For like 2 days.
Halloween
Come on,
it's not here yet. Okay, and July was only 3 months ago.
Okay, it's October. I'll give it. No, we've got the one like big show and then a bunch of stuff in Europe. So around that, like I've got connections in Russia with I tour with this other band, and all we do is play Europe shows. So there's some really cool stuff in the works for that. And so Russia is a possibility, and then the UK is definitely a huge possibility because we have, I mean, obviously with Kate, but also with the other band that I'm with. So it's like, it's going to be, it'll be a slam dunk. Like, we're going to definitely do this. It's just a matter of, like, making sure the timing is right, because the promoters over there need lots of time to, like, organize how they're going to make it all work.
Okay, well, see, they have 9 months, and then I think Saskia's question is Dianthus hopefully going to be in that bill?
I fucking hope so. I fucking hope so.
See, the girls are looking at me like I'm wait a second here. I'm just pushing the question. There's an agenda here.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've never been to the UK, but like I said, every time that we've toured, this first tour, it's a first for every time. So it'll be really cool to go to the UK and play out there, because the rock scene too, they have tremendously great following for rock shows. They keep it really traditional too. So yeah.
Well,
awesome.
I have to throw this out there. I mean, I think you're at that point where you only need to branch out. I mean, think about it. You look at the people you've worked with on your music, your videos. I mean, some really great people, that are still well known in the music industry. They're, I think that's the only place you have to go. It's, and I know it's kind of scary, like, oh well, geez, I mean, I'm sure, John is like, okay, well, shit, I have a job, I still got to work, right?
Yeah.
But Rowena.
He's always down to travel and get a vacation.
Are you listening to this conversation right now? You are? Okay, all right.
Yes.
So how are you, Rowena? How are you going, hey, yeah, I think the UK would be awesome. Don't hide behind that screen. I can't see you.
She gets camera shy.
I'm watching
Yeah,
you.
come talk in the mic.
Yeah, right here.
Come on in the mic. Yeah.
Okay, I can see you now. Okay, so, I mean, think about that, Rowena. I mean, what do you think? I mean, obviously, you're a huge, part of the girls and their gigging, and because you're always there. I mean, I've never seen the girls and you not be
I
there.
don't think she's missed one show, really.
Have you missed the show?
Same with our dad too.
You had to have been like severely sick in order to miss a show. But I mean, what do you think? UK, July? It's a long ways away.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, you put a lot of. I mean, not only have the girls put a lot of work in. I mean, you put a lot of work in too.
I enjoy it. I do.
Yeah. I know you do. I know you do, and that's what's awesome.
She lives her rocker life through us, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things that people don't understand is. I didn't have that when I was growing up. I mean, when I started, playing, and I started playing parties and shows. I was 15 years old, and I was playing in bars with guys, that were 21 and up, and my dad, he just couldn't stand that. Which is probably one of the reasons I was out of the house at 16 years old.
It's tough if you're a drummer too, because you can't turn down the drums when you're practicing.
Yeah. It was
electronic. But
the drums were set up. I walked on. I played the gig, and I walked off, and the drums were brought out, and then I could disassemble them.
No, same here. Yeah, no.
Are you guys both drummers?
Yeah, and so is with JJ.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we have, the next show we have next Monday is called the Drum Clinic.
Outnumbered by drummers.
That's awesome.
So we have nothing but drummers.
4 drummers in the room.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, the first Monday of every month we have a drum clinic, and it's nothing but it's us three, and then I just brought in another buddy of mine, Tato, which is another drummer. Is
he joining us tomorrow?
Yes.
Or next Monday?
I hope so.
Okay, very
I'll
good.
hit him up as long as he's not playing.
Yeah, because Jess was part of it too, but of course she got busy and with school and
I'd be down
college
to
and
come
everything.
back though. Like I'm always down to
Really?
come back. Yes.
Oh,
That's not the last time you're gonna see
You
me.
just said that. You just said it.
See,
It's been long.
It's on wax now.
It has been.
Yeah, I know it's out in there now.
It has been.
You guys
long.
have a guitar clinic too for Jackie. Just kidding.
But yeah,
the only
I've
one
been
here.
playing drums since I
Ready to
was
play?
9 years old. I'm 50, so it's
That's
been a long
awesome.
time.
Yeah, I've been playing since I was 10.
Nice.
And then JJ does drum circles with a lot of hairy
Hippie women.
hippie women.
Hairy women.
Hippie
I play at Venice
with
Beach.
large beards.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, with
Pretty
beards
Hairy
and hairy armpits.
Funny
and stuff.
story.
And
There is
I
one
knew it, I
bearded
knew it.
lady there.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
I am so not surprised about this.
Honestly, during Halloween time.
And her name's JJ.
Venice Beach is like the greatest place in the world.
No, it's not.
we always give a JJ crap about that, but it's awesome because he does drum circles, and a bunch of percussionists, and then they just they dance and kind of stuff like that. I've been to them before. They're really awesome to see. Actually, speaking of drum circles, they're having a powwow at one of the local casinos. I think it's.
We just went to a powwow at.
We
where
did.
was it?
I think it was Morongo.
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 Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Morongo.
Did it already happen?
It happened, yeah.
Oh.
We actually went with Aunt Vicky and Uncle Joe.
Was
Oh,
it
did
September?
you?
It was September 22nd or something. It was
think so.
early.
Yeah.
It was like
No. This is another one because they have the billboard right there on the 10 freeway, so it just says powwow. But yeah, I those are awesome. Because there's just that whole the dancing chiming thing with the drums is just to keep it rhythm is like a huge.
I can stand it for about maybe 20 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Like, I gotta have something
the
else.
same beat over and over and over and over and over. It's like I'd rather. It's like being in one of those clubs where they just do the boom, 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 boom.
No, but see, here's see, that's just horrible.
I can't do it.
that was pretty good.
That's just horrible. But you have to look at the movement of and the dancing in it with it. If you blend it together, it's really awesome.
Well, yeah, no, if you're into that, that's one thing, but
Yeah, it's a cool little treat.
But so you play any instruments, Derek?
Do I play what?
Any instruments?
he plays bass.
I'm
He
a
said
bassist,
that.
man.
Okay, besides
So I
He's in a band, remember?
I said
I started-
other. Listen. Did you hear me? Hear me, Kato? I said, do you play any other instruments?
No, you said
said
you
you
play
play
any
any-
instrument.
Now, see, okay, the recording is going to approve it. I could have swore I said, do you play any other instruments? Is that what I said?
I thought you said you play any instruments.
Any instrument.
Did I? I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's a Zig Zone.
I mean-
Stuff happens.
All right.
It's all right.
All right.
He's just a pretty boy. He's He's the
it's all
singer.
good. It's all good. No, no, I've been playing bass. Like,
Well, see, I could have been.
I'm the pretty boy.
See, I could have been an asshole and said, "Hey, Derek, you play the skin flute?"
well, the answer would be yes. So,
Oh, see, there you go. See, that's it. See, tit for tat. Now I'm crawling under the. I'm crawling under the table now.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
So never revised my question. Do you play any other instruments?
I've been playing bass for 24 years now, 24. And I started with guitar a couple years before that. My dad had a closet full of guitars, and I told him I wanted to play bass, and I was just a junior, and he was like, yeah, I'm not going to buy you a bass, but you can go grab any of those instruments and play those. So I just took a guitar and started playing that.
Did you take lessons, or was just something that just came to you?
At first, no. I grabbed the guitar, and I just, started watching what people were doing, and the weirdest thing was I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know how the guitar was tuned, and I just, in order to change strings, I remembered what the sound was, and I just would change the string and, tune it back to the sound that I thought it was. And I took it to the guitar store the first time that I had it, and I changed the strings, and I was like, I don't know if this is in tune because I don't have a tuner. I probably need to buy a tuner and maybe a metronome and a few other things. And I handed him the guitar, and he's like, it's pretty much in tune, dude. And I was like,
wow.
Well, I don't know. I just changed the strings, and there you go. So I don't know.
Perfect pitch then.
I felt really attached to it pretty quickly, and the first couple times I played chords, people showed me chords, and I just kind of figured that out. So over a couple years, I figured that stuff out, and then I saw a band play in Santa Barbara, and I was like, oh my God, I really just want to be that bass player, because he was slapping and popping and doing all the cool shit, and I was like, fuck yeah, that's what I want,
Yeah.
So I literally I got a credit card, and it had a max limit of $750, so it was a really shitty card.
And you maxed it.
And I maxed it out, and I got a Fender Jazz bass, and the biggest amp I could get, which was 200 watts and a 15-inch speaker, and that was it. And so that was my entrance into bass, and I just immediately started playing with bands, and I just felt like that was the right thing for me, was just that support role, and I just ran with that, and I went from there to playing fretless. I went straight from 4-string to 5-string, and then I went into fretless, and then I went straight into playing upright bass, and I almost got hired entirely just for upright bass for 5 years straight. So it was almost the only thing I did for a long period of time in my touring years. And then at a certain point, I was just I don't want to do this kind of music. I want to do something different. I always wanted to do something heavy, and that's why this is so cool, being in this industrial band that we're doing, because this is the heaviest band I've ever been in. Otherwise, it's a piano and drums and me playing upright
You don't want
bass.
to get stuck in that cycle. You want to break it.
Well, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. It's someone starts throwing a couple $200-300 a show at you for doing whatever, and it's it's easy to take those gigs. It's tough to break out of that. The hard thing, to be super honest, was I established myself as a player and as a side guy. And once I was that person, that's the box I was in. And I got pigeonholed as being the side guy who does singer-songwriters. Yeah. I can do this, I can do that, and that's what I got picked up for. So in order to, this is the thing that I think is really cool about you girls right now, is when you start young and you know what your vision is, and you follow that vision, you can make your life be what you want it to be. When you start out doing something and you think you're really good at this one thing, and people pigeonhole you into that thing, you end up spending a lot of your time doing this thing, and eventually it becomes not the thing that you really wanted to do,
Other people pigeonhole you.
True.
It's great to be a full-time musician, because I've been in and out of that role many, many times in my life. But it's so cool to see you starting out and doing your thing and being true to your vision, and from there you get to control your life. You get to control where your future is and what you're doing. And I feel
so
like
much. That means a lot. It
And
really
it is
does.
It's so
amazing that your
cool.
parents support you
Oh
100%
my God.
in your vision. That's
Seriously
so
amazing.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So many people have to fight their parents on what they want to do and what they're
Sometimes their
passionate.
parents
Exactly.
don't like the
Dude,
music.
I know.
Yeah.
But
I know.
We hear that
Yeah,
too,
no,
and
I-
it shocks us. We're like, yeah, it makes it that much more real to us. That like,
Yeah.
we can't take it for granted.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah.
It makes things a lot easier because, like I said, my dad was just not having any part of it. I guess if I would have played for the church band, then he probably would have been like really happy about that. But here I am, in the Southern Baptist home, and I want to play. Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. I remember my
I'm
first.
sure that went over well.
I remember I found my first Black Sabbath poster, which was Live Evil, and he's like, "What is that?" Take that down. So Kato, now, when are you from a vocalist family, or did you just kind of like find yourself?
Well, my mom is very musical. My dad is completely tone deaf. So I really hope he doesn't tune into this. Me saying that.
Sorry,
But
Dad.
my mom was a guitarist in her Christian band when she was younger, which I didn't know, and that's why.
Oh shit! So you grew up in another religious family.
Yes, Salvation Army actually. And anyway, so that's why there was that acoustic guitar laying around the house. So when I was about 12 or 13, I picked up this guitar, started trying to strum out some Nirvana, and realized that I could do it. And I was playing piano, so I had a ton of piano lessons when I was younger.
That's cool.
And so I can play piano and guitar and bass really badly because I haven't played in years.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank
That's
you.
cool. You have that experience. Though.
Yeah,
That's how you started
absolutely.
with
Mhm.
the- yeah.
Yeah, and then I bought myself this poopy little like Gibson Epiphone with all my little allowance when I was like, I don't know, like 14 or 15. Took a few lessons, and and just noodled around a guitar.
So you're playing like some grunge music?
Yeah,
or
lots of grunge. I was a
and
huge Nirvana fan. Nirvana was my bag.
But like punk too, a little
Mhm,
bit.
a little bit of punk.
Rancid. So like
Yeah.
Hole and all those.
Yes.
Drain
Yeah.
is a good one too.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like actually, that's kind of like how I started too, and Jessica as well. Like she actually started off with guitar first, and then realized she didn't like it.
Okay.
I gave it a try. Yeah. Like she picked up the acoustic. That's probably not as interesting.
But how did you start playing drums?
Well, it's funny because before we even like played music, we had a vision of having a band,
Mhm.
and so we went through all these funny band names when we were little. It was kind of like a like a childhood dream, but it became like an actual serious thing.
That's amazing.
But it was funny because we had like our friends come over for sleepovers. We're like, who wants to be the drummer? Who wants to be the singer? And like we kind of like just like played band, I guess, like for fun. And like I just took drums, and then I was like, what if I actually take drum lessons and actually try this? Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it was so much fun when the teacher would have the notes up because I would like read the notes and I would pick it up really easy and stuff. So
That's really
I
cool.
enjoyed it. It was so cool.
Yeah. But like starting out though, as far as guitar, like you did the power chords.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
I think that's where we all started. It's still
Fun to play too. Like I love still playing Blink-182 and all that.
Perfect.
Well, that's how you learn. That's how you emulate your own sound, and you could learn a lot by covering stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Would you ever play guitar again, or
When Derek leaves on tour, I'll like grab his acoustic and I'll just like play some
Steal
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
No,
So when no one's listening.
Charles already said we're bringing her out. She's gonna play guitar on a couple songs.
Yes,
for
let's
sure.
do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
I would love to see it.
You know what I think you guys should do? Let's say hypothetically, Saska, that they go to the UK, and I think what would be really awesome is if that happens, Saska, then I think you guys should have a couple tunes that you should do together.
Agreed.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, definitely collaborate.
I think that would be like one of the most epic.
Well, the crazy thing is,
things of all
if we
time.
put our heads together, we'd have an entire band because there'd be drums, bass, guitar, vocals with keyboards. Like, I mean, it would be a crazy band. Yeah.
You could have an
It would
entire
be.
girl band.
No, it would be an
Like,
all-girl
yeah,
band with like
perfect.
one dude in the corner. Yeah, yeah.
No, that'd be awesome.
No, all
Project.
you have to do is put that eye stuff on and tighten up your eyes and put on some mascara, and there you go. No one will ever know, man.
My act should be like,
Egyptian bed.
oh
Yeah,
my God.
we got the geisha girl bass player.
Dude, so gross, man.
Nice.
Oh.
It could be done.
That'd be really fun.
And then at least everybody knows that it was my idea. Okay, so I want 10%.
You want the
This is your idea. You get 10%.
Not 10% of any money. I just want 10% of like the props. You know what I mean? So when you guys are on
10% of
like
props.
you're on TV, you're like going, hey, just want to give a shout out to Zig for making us do this together. And thanks Scott and thanks for JJ. Even though JJ's back there, not even paying attention to what the hell's going on. He's supposed to be back there, like, seeing if there's any questions, because I'm blind as a goddamn bat. And
he's entertaining the ladies. He's entertaining the ladies.
He's just back there, just doing his thing.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what?
What's up?
Oh, see? Look at this guy. Hey, Rowena, did he take his other shirt off before he put that one on? Okay, good. Because you don't want to see what is underneath his shirt.
It's like Austin Powers.
He
groovy, baby.
We did. I don't.
Hey, you're my sexy baby.
He posted a pic, and I guess he got like a new drum or something, and he's got like the, what do you call it? The Franken kit, right? Or something.
Oh, that was on the regular drum set.
Oh, okay.
That was before I built Franken kit.
Whatever it was, like he was either added something to his kit or he was playing with his buddy or something like that. And he posted a picture, and he didn't have a shirt on.
It was just a morning jam in my underwear.
And of course, that's the first thing I see when I click on. But I'm like, oh.
Wait, I think I see that one.
Those are some hairy chichis, man.
Zig liked it.
I don't know.
Jeez.
I'm just hovering over the video.
Man, that's like a, what
you
is
make
that?
you horny, baby.
What is that? What was that? The Sasquatch freaking thing, man.
Harry and the Hendersons?
Yes.
Harry. He said Harry.
Actually, a friend of mine made a movie.
The hairy white vagina.
A very similar theme.
Do we just go there?
Funny.
Steer back. Steer clear.
Let's just pull it back a little bit.
You notice how the girls kind of like got a little bit closer together, like, oh my god, please
told me this is disgusting.
Really, Rowena left. Look at Rowena and Oscar left the room just in case he did. They're like, well, I'm out of here. What's up, sweetie? Look at my girl. You're so pretty. I just wanted to say that. So, you realize that it's now been 2.5 hours. It goes by fast, don't it?
It goes by fast, yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's always a great time when the girls are on there. I'm glad you guys came. That's for sure.
Thank you guys so much for inviting us.
It's been a great time. I love this because we haven't had a band on in a minute because when it was going through the transition of ownerships on for the station, I pretty much had to let's figure out what's going on. And then the moving situation, so it was like, okay, you know what? But this is a great way to break in, the new studio on the Zig Zone with you guys. It's kicking ass.
Yeah, no, cool. I knew you liked DK0. These guys are cool. Like the second we met, you guys we love them. So it's been awesome. Even the live shows, like you have to see them. Like they
tomorrow night.
So much energy. So
tomorrow night. Where's
stick to your word.
It's in Grand Terrace. Where at again?
Grand Terrace.
The venue.
At the venue.
It's just called the venue.
Yeah. Grand Terrace. Me and Otsko will be there.
I'm excited because this place is actually probably less than 3 miles from our house.
It's really close to you guys.
Yeah, we live like
you're
right.
Grand Terrace?
No, we live in Loma Linda.
Oh, okay. So
but it's literally like right there. Yeah.
Dude, my shop is right there, right near Toyota. The car dealer's right there.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And Orange Show and Auto Plaza. My shop's right there.
That's right there.
Just we've been neighbors.
Well, we gotta come over.
It'll be a big party.
So I'll be one of those nights where it's like I leave the shop and I'm like, I want to get my drink on. Hey, what's up?
You gotta hit us up, man.
I'm coming on over.
Hells yeah, dude! You can come float on our floaties in the pool, dude. I'll make you some margaritas.
Yes.
I'll make you margaritas, dude. I'll barbecue a tri-tip. Like we'll get it done, dude. We'll get it done.
Okay, you mentioned tri-tip.
See,
You had me on that tip.
Did you hear that from JJ?
I heard barbecue a tri-tip.
I don't.
Sold.
Sold.
I don't know if
Do you do
Derek
remote
knew
chaotic
what he
radio?
just said right now. What he got himself into.
You should do a remote
He said
chaotic
from the
radio.
pool, floating around.
Straight from the pool. Like,
Right.
You can always do the
From the
Facebook
pool.
Live.
Then you
true, Facebook
see Kato on Facebook late, like around 2:00 in the morning. You know, she'd be doing her Facebook, live thing. She'd be like, going, I really wish these guys would leave.
This has been going on for 8 hours.
You go now.
You're too fat.
John Panette, you like John Panette?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. John Panette is absolutely one of my favorite comedians, and I've seen him probably 5 times. Well, he was playing at the Comedy Magic Club in Redondo Beach, and I went and seen him there. And so he did his routine. Then when you're walking out of the venue, he'll sign stuff for you. You know what I mean? So he was sitting in a chair. There was a chair next to him, and it wasn't. It's empty anyways. The girl's like, "Whoa,
Hello.
you're gonna pull a Scott."
Coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
Ow. So the people, the lines, lined up, and I'm like, I'm just kind of like viewing, I'm like, oh, you know what? So I sat down next to him, and he looks at me like,
Hey.
and I'm like, oh, I'm your manager tonight. Just want to let you know that, And so as people are coming up, okay, that one's going to be $10. That one's going to be $50. I just had a good buzz going on, but he rolled with it, and he was just laughing. Great guy. But he's so funny, and the one that got me was when he was younger, and he did the whole, oh, I put enough MSG to kill elephant.
Yeah.
You go now.
You're too fat.
You're he's just so fun. Then he was on the original.
Me and my Uncle Jay quoted that dude so many times.
Well, he was on, and nope. It was funny because very few people recognized him. Like he's on the original Punisher.
Is he really?
Oh, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Did you see the original Punisher?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's why.
Of course, that's why.
There you go. No wonder. But if you watch the original Punisher, the movie, he was one of the characters in that. And just great guy. But off to comedians. But he's one of my favorites. You go now.
Yeah, craziness.
You guys any comedians?
I like Angela Johnson's funny. She's a nail salon lady. She's pretty funny. She imitates like the nail salon people. She's really funny.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart? What?
Kevin Hart's hilarious.
He's pretty good. Yeah.
Who else?
Not a lot though. Not a lot.
I think. I mean, maybe it's just me being old school, kind of like, I like all the new motorcycles, I like to do track. I'm on the track a lot. I've ridden a lot of new motorcycles, and sometimes I don't like the ABS, or I don't like, the torque value of them. I don't like the tip in, I don't like the record trail. But when it comes to comedians, I just think that the newer comedians just don't have it like Eddie Murphy.
Or George Carlin.
I mean, come on. There ain't nobody going to be like George Carlin. There ain't nobody. Sam Kinison.
Dude, Sam Kinison is ridiculous.
There's too much scare value. Everyone's too scared to hear what he's,
Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor, thank you very much. It's just, you got to love just, same thing, like, we've had the same conversations, girls, when it comes to music, we're like, oh, look, there was so much music and so much diversity in bands back in the day.
Dude.
Well, nowadays it's like everyone's trying to be somebody else, and it becomes just generic.
I totally feel like that. I feel like people are trying really hard to write a good song and not trying hard enough to create a piece of art that is truly expressive of whatever it is that's going on with them. And so it's cool to write a good song, and if you can, that's fucking amazing. But like, if you're self-editing to a point where your expression of art all of a sudden becomes secondary to, I should probably say this instead of that, then you're making a mistake. And I feel like that's when that's when art becomes not interesting anymore. It becomes elevator music, or it becomes something that's so passive that it doesn't challenge people. And like when you challenge someone, like honestly, like Led Zeppelin challenged people, Deep Purple challenged people, Ozzy challenged people with Black Sabbath, you know, like when you hear that shit back then, there was nothing like that stuff when it came out. Nothing, you know? The first time Jimmy played the way he did, you know, it's like nobody fucking heard guitar played like that at that time. It challenged people's sensibilities of what was supposed to be happening, you know? So like, and I feel like that's what's great about Marilyn Manson. And I know he may not be like everyone's epitome of what is awesome about rock music, but I will say that he's certainly not fucking afraid to say what is on his mind, you know?
Do you think people are too afraid now? What I mean?
Well, yes, I think that is right. I think people are afraid. People don't want to push the envelope because if you think about it, see now Alice Cooper was the Marilyn Manson of the 70s.
Dude, that's how Marilyn Manson wouldn't even exist without Alice Cooper.
So now you can imagine in 75 when Alice Cooper is people are going, what the hell is this? And that's the same thing that Marilyn Manson, when he came out, and then the Beautiful People, and well, actually, even before then, it was the family shit.
It was that. Oh God, what was that album?
It's all the little clay figures on the thing.
But the Lunchbox song.
Well, the thing is,
his biggest hit was that Beautiful People guy.
Well, that's what got him moving.
Yeah.
But there was still.
But prior to that, there were a couple albums.
3 albums prior to that, which I have. But and people didn't think of those albums till after. That album came out, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, well, what did he has in the past?"
Yeah.
But he did. He pushed the envelope, and that's what you have to do.
I feel like in rock and roll, like
it's music. You can't be scared.
You can't be scared.
You can't be scared.
Why
is this going to work? And what happens is people like if you do say if you do offend somebody, or if you do shock people. The thing is that they might be shocked, might be offended at that point, but guess what? You made a mark.
They're going to remember you.
Yes,
you have to be okay with people hating you.
I'm telling you, I remember. I can't remember what the band was, but this is back in the '80s, and I seen this band, and it was just I was like, what the hell is this? Mm-hmm. And then it was like they left something in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I seen it was I think it was at the Waters Club in San Pedro.
Oh, I remember that place. Oh my God, that stage was like fucking 10 feet tall. It was ridiculous.
and they had this mannequin. And they pull this man, and it was like a female, and then he takes this and he cuts the
Lizzie
mannequin
Borden?
open. No. Oh. And throwing stuff, and it was funny because when you went to the gig, they passed out like like sheets of plastic, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, oh wow, this is like really bizarre. Why would you do something like
I know
that?
Gallagher, yeah.
And then
That's what I thought.
It stayed in my head. And then I went and I seen them again in Hollywood. I can't remember if it was the Troubadour or the Roxy or whatever. And I'm like going, oh, they're getting it. I see this. And then the band turned in, when they released their first album, and it went just, crazy. Wasp.
Oh, it was Wasp. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool.
Because they used to he would take raw meat and he just fling it out.
Just fling it in the audience. Oh, that's crazy.
And that's how they got their whole.
I think were doing that one of their tours.
Dianthus did do something
their
like that.
Their first US tour, they were flinging meat at people.
Yeah.
It was
beating the meat.
Beating the meat.
But the thing was, when people see, they're like, "Oh, what the hell?"
Yeah.
But they did have this cult following. But people in the background are like, "Oh, what the." Dude, man, if you hit me with a chunk of liver, dude, I'm gonna run up that stage. I'm gonna shove it up your butt,
punch you in the fucking face. Yeah.
But they obviously stopped doing that because once they got big, it was like, oh, you can't do that. Because
you can't do it in Portland, that's for sure.
Yeah. Right. Right. Let me throw a zucchini at you. Let me.
Yeah, it's
Oh, it's all vegan now.
I think for that reason you should do it in Portland.
It's just beets. It's just piles of beets.
Beats. No, but I mean, I've never followed like your mainstream music. I mean, I've always followed weird, obscure music my whole life. Like, I mean, I was into like Frank Zappa.
Yeah,
when I was
dude,
younger.
Zappa. I fucking
underground
love
stuff.
Like Faith No More, Mr. Bungle.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's a huge Mr. Bungle fan.
Mike Patton. All the
Mike
way.
Patton is like one of my favorite,
Me too.
vocalists by
Yeah.
all means. Dillinger Escape Plan,
Yeah.
amazing. God, I just go on and on, but I don't like that. 12-Foot Ninja. That's
Oh,
like one of my new
yeah.
favorites right now. They're from Australia.
I remember you told me
Those
about
guys,
those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, look them up. They play like a little bit. They've got a lot of bungle influence to them, and they play like a variety. But they're just the music that they write is just amazing. And the vocal wise, it's like they could scream, but they could sing.
Yeah.
It's not just screamo or any of that crap. It's just like they really get it. It's like they got that Faith No More, Mr. Bungle kind of vibe, and it's like that's what I like.
Cool.
So I want to throw this at you two right now. If you were ever to go to my shop, and I'm right there, literally off the 215 Orange Show Auto Plaza. When you exit the freeway, you go on the west side of the freeway. You take a left at the very first street. I can actually see the 215 from my.
What's the address? You're seriously probably like 2.5 miles from our house.
Literally. So you go to my shop. When you walk in the front door, there's a wall right there to your left. When you walk past the wall, that's where my band practices. All you're going to see is
no way.
amps and my drum kit and everything like that.
That's so cool.
Stop on by. Just take a look at it.
Nice.
And you were saying you don't have a steady drummer, so why don't you come on by and let's collaborate on something?
Well, let's jam.
Let's do it.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
And we've got a PA, everything there, ready to go.
Dude, let's do it.
That's really convenient. You have that there. Yeah.
Right?
Plus, you wanted to.
See, the thing is, I would invite Dianthus, but see, I can't do anything more than just me. I would be like, hey,
The drum jam.
double drummer.
We could hybrid it. I'll bring my electric kit. And
I have another kit inside the bathroom. It's like what's funny because when my customers they go, "Hey, you have a restroom?" Yeah, it's right there, door right there. So they go in, and when they come out, they're going, "You like drums, don't you?"
It's like those memes where they're on the toilet and they're like playing drums.
Yeah.
in the shower or something.
No, actually, I mean, I would love. I mean, I think that would be a great idea. Let's all do something, Jen. We had
We'll bring lumpia for you
Scott
guys, so.
inside
That'd be
there.
so fun. That'd be really fun.
You
got a bass rig down there?
Yes, I do.
Cool. I'll just
Yes, I
bring
do.
my bass.
We'll
And
just shoot a music video while we're there. We'll grab all the bikes. We'll just be like circling around on
Oh,
the
there you go, right?
Since Chuck doesn't show up for practice anymore.
No, actually, Chuck shows up.
Oh, does he?
It's Johnny doesn't show
Oh,
up.
okay. Well, I know Chuck hasn't. He's got that other band he's doing.
Well, he's with Manifestation. No.
I don't know. I know he's with another band and he's like,
Oh, okay.
I'm
Anyway.
sorry. Manifestation is the band from Germany that came out in. They were on our show. Oh shit! Forget it. It obviously doesn't matter to me.
Anyway.
But they got this whole record deal and everything, and then they're supposed to be going on a tour, or what have you. But no, he's going. He's still sort of band practice, and he's that poppy kind of bass player too.
Nice.
He likes that, just the old school, funk,
Yeah.
but add a little bit of metal style
Like
to it.
infectious grooves,
yeah.
sort of like Red Hot
Yes.
Chili Peppers shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff.
It's fun. It's really fun.
Because Scott has the same. He has a large kit like me. I have a 10-piece double bass. Yours is.
I have got a smaller kit now. I don't.
Oh, you
go,
downsized.
No, I've
His
got
cocktail in it.
no, well, yeah. I play too many shows. It's like I can't sit there and carry a massive kit. It takes too long to set up,
Right,
especially when
it
you're doing
does.
shows where you got 15 minutes to set up.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
It's always 15
Yeah.
minutes.
Luckily,
So-
I was able
I
to
know
show
it
that
feels
good.
like it's all
Well, like this.
Well, that's what's cool about our tours. We've been sharing a kit. And
Yeah.
I feel bad for.
I know.
Well, that's
we
what
made
I-
it work,
I
though.
know.
Work.
But I'm doing the same thing. I'm providing a kit for all the bands this Friday at the cave. We're playing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Big Bear.
So we're
Oh, that's so cool.
Nice.
We'll be
I
back
haven't
there on
been
the
there
third.
yet.
yeah, it's an amazing venue.
I want to come
guys
check
played
it
with
out. Yeah,
Drowning
'cause
Pool recently?
they
They
played.
just played Drowning
Yeah.
Pool.
The
Yeah.
Drowning Pool is super cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
that was the first.
Did your body hit the floor? I just gotta ask.
All the bodies hit the floor.
Did they play? Did they jam that tune?
They did, and they
Oh,
played
they
Tear
had
Away
to,
too. That was a good
man.
one.
I haven't seen that new singer yet though. I liked when they had
good.
I liked when they had the guy from Soil playing.
Oh, they had a singer from Soil?
How
Yeah.
many singers
For, like,
have they
several
had
albums.
at
Oh, that would have
Soil?
been cool.
No,
I haven't heard it. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was like
I've only heard the old stuff. So yeah.
because I love Soil, and when he joined Drowning Pool, it was like it was really good,
worked.
and
Yeah.
then he went back to Soil again, and
It's just short-lived.
I haven't seen the sing, but they did like 2 albums together.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, the newer
That's
stuff
cool.
is they have a different kind of more modern kind of sound, but it's
Yeah.
still the old Drowning Pool hard hitting kind of lyrics and all that.
Nice, nice.
But yeah, they have one song called Saturday Night, and it's a banger.
Cool.
Yeah,
It's
the
good.
singer's got a great voice too.
Yeah, the new guy's really good. Yeah, super energetic.
Nice.
On stage. Yeah. That was a fun show for sure.
But we'll be back actually November 3rd. We'll be opening
You
for
said Friday?
We're this Friday, yeah.
Okay, we'll miss
we're
you.
playing at the Cave, and then
We'll be-
Saturday we're in somewhere in San Pedro.
I wanted
missing you.
I wanted so bad to go see you guys with Drowning Pool, but I mean I teach the motorcycle safety course on the weekends, and I have to be on the range at 5 o'clock. I have to be on the range at 5:30 in the morning to so I mean to go up to Big Bear and then watch you guys and then party and then come home and then go to sleep. An hour and a half sleep wasn't gonna do it. So I'm really bummed I missed that.
We're playing Friday. at
I'm not
Big Bear.
talking about you, and I have to teach this weekend. So there you go. I teach on the weekends. This fucking guy.
When's the last time you came and saw us play?
I'm not talking about you. I was talking to the girls. You weren't even in my conversation. I wasn't even talking about you.
I see how it is.
See, I said I wanted to see.
harsh.
I'm looking at Jackie and Jesse, and I said I wanted to see you guys with Drowning Pool. I didn't say nothing about
Make it happen
Scott.
again.
I don't know how he kind of like wedged his ass in this conversation because
getting
I
real
was
now.
saying I was wishing I wanted to go to that
We
gig.
were talking
but
about
it was
drummers,
a weekend night.
drummers
and I
mixing up
couldn't do it.
kids.
Yeah,
and
we missed you
I-
there though, for sure. We missed you in art school.
No, they were talking about
So,
drummers
anyways,
backlining.
I hope this goes up on this goes up
can you hear it?
on Mevo.
Can I
right?
can I have it like this first and then just go?
Hey, can we play another song?
Yeah, we actually could. Yeah, play the other
We
one.
still have
It's
another
I
one.
feel right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that one. That's good.
Good because I have to use the restroom. I got
Nice.
a tinkle.
Cool thing about
No,
this
wait,
song.
what was it I used last week?
Tinkle.
Was it
Yeah,
tinkle?
tinkle.
Oh, then Lean's like, girls don't.
Or was it
tinkle."
sprinkle?
I don't know what
No,
it
you
was.
said tinkle. Like,
Did I say it?
no,
I got the tinkle.
that's cute.
So
Yeah, we should ask. Now there's 3 girls in here. Do y'all say tinkle?
you know what I think we should do? I think if Kato has to use the restroom, I think she should take the girls inside the men's restroom and
That's what I just did when
sing.
I left. I went
Does-
to the men's.
I don't know if you want to go in there.
No, I'm good.
I'll be right here. I just want to see, does she just can squat on a urinal? No, but okay. So now, go ahead and tell us, the next song, which is "I Feel." So, what was the whole bottom line foundation of that song?
The foundation was at the end of writing the album that we just released. We wrote about 25 songs.
Yeah, about 25.
for From Nothing, and then we chose 10 for the album.
Yeah.
And out of the 10, there were a couple that Liz or Seth from the Fame Riot had chosen that didn't have any lyrics on them yet, and this was one of them. So it was pretty cool because this was like a real collaboration between Liz and really Kate for the vocals.
I feel like I Feel was like at the end of writing all that stuff though. That was one of the last tracks.
It was the last track we wrote.
Yeah, you created this really cool melody, and it was super high pitched. You're like, I can't hit those notes. I was like, I can do that. That's fine. And you were like, I guess this is your song then. You can be the primary vocalist on this.
Yeah.
So I can't remember if it was. I
And we
guess it was a
wanted-
joint collaboration for writing the lyrics for it.
But it just happened.
Well, I had basically the chorus lyrics written.
Yeah.
And then we needed a bridge.
Yeah.
I had some verse lyrics and chorus lyrics, and we needed a bridge. You wrote the bridge, pretty much.
I wrote like a little bit of like couple of the verses and then the bridge.
And I had the melody for the chorus, but you and Seth kind of worked out the verse, and you guys worked out the bridge and everything.
And Seth is an amazing vocal coach. He's like one of the coolest people to work with when it comes to like singing.
He's so creative and like supportive. It was really cool.
So he's part of the writing process with you guys.
For I Feel, for that song,
just for that song.
Well, Turn Up the Hate as well. So, there's a couple like Death Bus on the album. Yeah, Seth and I pretty much wrote.
I like the names.
Yeah. Turn Up the Hate was it was all instrumental, and Seth like reworked the whole thing that I had, and then I came in and he was like, all right, here's the song, and so I came up with Turn Up the Hate, and then he helped me with the kind of more rap parts of that song, which was like the pre-chorus section, you know. He's like, yeah, I want you to do this kind of like that. So he would sort of tell me how I should sing it, and so then I would.
Because like you think of the feel of the song, and then you kind of understand how the lyrics are going to sound, you know.
Yeah.
Like sound bites and all that, you know. Totally.
Yeah, so we worked those together, and
I feel like he really pushed me on I Feel because
he really did. Yeah,
like naturally I have a really deep voice, and he has a really high, like he's super falsetto.
His falsetto is beautiful. Yeah.
So he was like pushing me really high. Do you remember? And I was just like, this feels uncomfortable. This is weird. He's like, no, you've got it. Trust me. Like this sounds really good.
That's usually when you discover more of your capabilities.
Yeah.
So that's good.
But it's weird live because I have to have this crazy range of like growling, doing like weird sounds, screamo, deep stuff, and then falsetto stuff, and it's like this whole huge
it's like a
range.
drum. It's a
oh my
drum
god.
line.
Yeah.
Well, should we hear the song?
It sounds great. I love this
We should
song.
probably play the
Yeah, let's put it
let's
on.
play the song.
Ready?
Yeah.
Here's I Feel from DK0.
I know my heart is broken. I never want to be alone. I feel like a freak. I feel like a disease. I'll never get away from all the anger and deceit. Your tongue is twisted. My body struggles to breathe. And now I'm choking on the ashes of my enemies. I feel my head split open. I think my mind is gone. I know my heart is broken. I never want to be alone. I feel my eyes wide open. I think my mind is gone. I know my heart is broken. I feel my pain tonight. I feel like a freak. I wanna see you bleed. My head is swimming in the tide of fire suffering. Your tongue is twisted. My body struggles to breathe. And now I'm choking on the ashes of my enemies. I feel my head split open. I think my mind is gone. I know my heart is broken. I never want to be alone. I feel my eyes wide open. I think my mind is gone. I know my heart is broken. I feel my pain tonight.
was I Feel by DK0. Coming in hot.
Nice.
Love that song.
Yeah, that was a different feel from the other one that you guys
Yeah,
played.
that one's way poppier.
Yeah, a lot more popular.
I feel like
but-
with this, I feel like with this first album, we're definitely like trying to find our footing as to what our sound is going to be, and that it's a bloody popular song. You put it on YouTube.
Bloody popular.
It's bloody popular, mate. And where's it at in terms of views on YouTube?
We got about 147,000 views on it
Crazy.
now in
Yeah.
like 5 months.
Yeah, crazy.
So it's pretty good for
I was
Nice.
like, what?
first start.
I love the music video for that one too.
No. That Coors Light or that Coors Light, whatever it is, I don't.
That's Coors regular.
Honey, mine is in the very bottom. It says the Zig Zone, do not touch.
Zig, I have a ton of people,
She
of
listened
fans
to it. She said-
asking where they can tune into this show on YouTube and Facebook. So what do people look up? please?
All you have to do is go to YouTube, and it's Kaotic Radio, and it would say live.
So YouTube.com/chaotic radio.
YouTube.com, yeah, and then Chaotic Radio, and we are live right now. All you do is click the live button,
All right.
and boom, we are live. Now, the thing about YouTube, which is awesome, is you can always review it later.
Yeah.
It is titled Dianthus/DK0. So if you can't see it tonight, you can see it tomorrow, Thursday, next month,
All right.
whatever it is.
Good. And then on the same on Facebook, right?
The Facebook is it's under Zig Ray. So
Okay.
my
Zig Ray.
Facebook page is open to everybody.
Okay.
I don't. There's nothing private about me. Obviously, if I want to put a left nut in my mouth, but but you can always review everything when it comes to the shows. I mean, Dianthus has got. I think I looked back. There was probably 6
Was there 6?
that we have on YouTube. Because you've been on the show prior to the YouTube. I actually had the very first YouTube live show for Chaotic Radio.
Nice.
But I think we've got at least five or 6. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, but you can always go onto YouTube, and it doesn't matter. So once it's on YouTube, it's going to stay there.
Yeah, and
So
we're after 10 now, so it's going to be on
we're
YouTube.
we're still going.
Oh, nice.
It's not on
So-
Chaotic anymore, but it's going to be on YouTube.
And I know you're
We're
you're
still on
tired.
Chaotic.
I know you're tired. Okay, that's great.
I'll
Because
get up another 3 hours.
because I could do this for a long time.
Hey, if we could order in some pad thai or something. That'd be great.
We had when the original owner of the show, he had a 24-hour show. This was years ago, and it basically went on for 24 hours. It just
kept going.
That
nonstop.
stamina.
And I think
It's a
that
lot of Red Bull.
I think the longest
Oh my god. Just intravenous, man.
It was only painful for me when I didn't have someone as interact as what I have in front of me. The interaction when it comes to your guest is how this is how the whole show just keeps flowing, and I'm telling you, I've had guests that it's kind of painful, and when you're like, okay, now I need, what do I need to do? What do I need to come up with to make this entertaining?
It's all about like the tangents, you go on around them tangents.
Yeah, it's
conversation-wise.
sidebars, right?
Tangents are fun.
Right. I mean, I have no problem when it comes to the girls coming on the show because, ladies, I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so they're 22 now. When I have Jack, when I have Jack and Jess on the show, it just flows. I have no problem with that. That's why the last time they were on, it was 4 hours. Oh, really? Is that it went by that quick? So that's how we're here right now. And I was over there, and I was like, well, shoot, the JJ comes out and goes, well, okay, well, we're done, in like 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not done.
You're like, I'm not done yet.
We still have 3 things. We had the chaoticradio.com app is done, but it's also going to be saved. People always go onto the chaoticradio.com, and they can always go onto the app. They can download the app.
Okay.
They can go on, and they can actually view the show, which is verbal. It's not. It's radio.
Yeah.
So they won't see the visual, but again, they can always go on to the YouTube, and it's always going to be there.
Yeah,
As long as YouTube's on the air or on the computer, they can always get that. So, and we're live 365, so anywhere in the world.
All right, good.
You know, so you can share, you can post it and share it, and boom, boom, boom. You know, when you get home tonight, you can click on to YouTube. It'll show what we're on right now. You can take that, you can share it to anybody you want.
All right,
just boom, 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 and then and there you go.
So I was gonna say we also haven't heard Kate speak Welsh because
oh my god,
she's from Wales, right? She's born in Wales, and like one of the early languages that she learned when she was young was Welsh.
Okay.
And so she sounds basically Elvish, and I just wanted to make sure everybody could hear that.
Okay, now great, because that is on the Lord of the Rings.
Yes, correct.
Welsh does sound Elvish.
Yeah.
So yes. No, wait. Hang on a second.
Right.
Hang on.
So excited.
Hang on.
Look at his face.
Because
he's like, oh shit.
Shit just got real.
Because
you can see it behind the sunglasses.
I want to tell you what I want you to say.
Oh God.
But now here's the thing, because it's funny, because when it comes out of a different language, it actually sounds pleasant. Okay.
Okay.
So here's what I want you to say. Here's what I want you to say.
All right.
All right. And I don't know how.
And then we're gonna have gonna have you say the same thing in Spanish when she's done with this.
Good luck with that. See, I'm Mexican, but I don't speak it.
Oh, damn it.
You're pretty fluent, though. Yes.
No, not really.
Not
no,
really?
I know the Welsh of a 10-year-old.
I'm gonna have you do your best. Okay.
How about I tell you what to say?
No. See, you're already on the spot. See, remember, you're in my house now. All right. So here's what I would like you to say. I would like you to say, for JJ, you like hairy women with big feet and big hands.
You like hairy women with big feet and big hands. For JJ.
I just want to hear how this rolls off the tongue, because if it's like French, it'd be like wash, and it would sound so sexy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For like a couple words, that's too long.
Maybe a couple, yeah.
Big hands.
For JJ, tien hoffi merch maur efo big tried maur ac dwyleb maur.
See, this will sound awesome. So grande.
Merch efo tried maur a dwyleb maur.
Okay, so now.
It was hairy. There was hairy in there, right?
Hairy, yeah.
Okay.
You forgot that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
It still sounds cool.
It does.
That's awesome.
Okay, so now let's say that you met me, and you thought I was just a complete douche. Okay, right? So now I'm sitting there. Let's just say.
She's like, yeah, I'm following you right now. I'm following you.
So I'm gonna put you in this zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's just say that I'm just like this complete douche that is like really hitting on you, and you're just despised by me. Okay. And you just like think of something you would say to me that would just totally diss me, but I would have no idea what you just said.
Cast a spell.
Ti'n edrych fel pen pinwin. You look like a dickhead.
Oh shit! I thought she said he looked like a penguin.
It's so cute though.
Penguin.
It's like you would not expect that.
What language is that?
It's Welsh.
Or Elvish.
Okay. Okay. Now,
Welshlish.
So penguin means dickhead?
No, penguin.
Penguin.
How do you say dickhead again?
Pen pinwin.
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 Pen is head. Pinwin is penis. Or you could say pinken, which is like dick. Well, penis head or dick head.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Now check this out. I mean, here's one of the things that I do when I go to Jackie and Jess's shows. I have this like big brotherly thing about me. And anytime guys talk to them, I'm watching them. And I even tell Otsko, I'm kind of watching this guy better not get out of hand. You know what I mean? He better not be rude. You know what I mean? I just do that. I'm the protective side of me. So now, let's say that there's the pickup line. Right. All right. So now, get this. So now I told you, I would say like, okay, what do you do in the morning? And then you be like, oh, well, I get up. And I said, okay, well, I would like to make sure I would like to make you pancakes and eggs in the morning.
I'm following you.
So now, we're just sitting there talking. You're just trying to be nice to me, and I'm just like going, hey, yeah, I'd like to make you pancakes and eggs in the morning.
What was that, a pickup line?
No, dude, I'm
because he failed already with pancakes, right?
No.
Don't point at me.
No.
Julie
from Reclaim the Sky. Remember, she had that guy that said that to her. Julie from Reclaim the Sky. Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
It's a female singer. She's very cute, and she's and that's what someone said to her. She was
wait, is that her boyfriend
and she
now?
was having no, it's not. And she was having a conversation with this guy, and he said, and she goes, so what are you doing tomorrow? She goes, I don't know. She goes, well, can I make you pancakes and eggs in the morning? Or pancakes and bacon.
Girl.
You know one of the stupid fucking lines.
Yeah.
So okay.
I like that though. That's good.
But you know what I mean?
She would buy it.
Come on.
And if he had a beard,
so cheesy.
If he had a beard, she'd be on it like
That was
crazy.
the cheesiest line I've ever heard.
So now you find me like real repulsive, okay? And but you're being nice. You're not telling me straight up until now that I'm just a repulsive, perv, right? Okay, so now and then now I throw that line at you. Yeah, okay, well, great. So what are you doing, tomorrow morning? You go, oh, I don't know. I said, well, I'd like to make you pancakes and bacon in the morning. What would you say to me? As just something that would just be like just put me in check. But I mean, like, that you're trying to tell me I'm just repulsive.
I always say, Radwin vegan.
I am vegan.
Well done.
Radwin Bill.
See, I heard the vegan thing. But I
In
really
other words, I don't want your meat.
I really want you to diss me though. But I think about how you're just like this guy's just a complete douche. You know what I mean? So what would you say to me? But that would just
You're never going to need to know this. You're not going to end up in Wales with some Welsh chick dissing you in a club. Like,
she doesn't want to be on the spot. I was just like.
So I went to Welsh school from age 4 till 10, and I learned all my subjects, all my lessons in Welsh, and I spoke English at home. And that was it. But I read and wrote in Welsh. And so at age 10, I had to learn English. And it was really weird. English is one of the hardest languages. It is so hard.
Yeah.
And,
I'm still trying to learn it.
Well, until you try to learn Japanese.
Yeah.
Quit smoking.
It was really tough.
Quit
It was really tough.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
there's like lots of figures of speech, and it's
Absolutely.
like literal and non-literal stuff.
Yeah.
So there's like the same word, but like different meanings. Sometimes.
And so many different ways of spelling the same. It sounds the
I
same.
know, it's so ridiculous.
It was a really difficult language for me to wrap my head around. So I have a really deep appreciation for anyone that had to learn English from scratch because it's so hard. It is.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Is Welsh kind of like Hispanic to America? I'm just kind of curious.
I mean,
would that be like a second language? Like Spanish is a second language here.
I mean, not necessarily to England. It's not spoken in England. It's quite novelty to Wales, and they really are holding on to the language. For a while, it was a dying language, like Gaelic in Ireland and Scotland. But now it's quite widely spoken, and it is a first language. So when you drive to Wales, all the road signs are in Welsh first, and all the translations are in English. So you go to Starbucks, everything's in Welsh, and then there's a little tiny subtitle of English underneath. So it's like, ooh, this is
how
weird.
funny!
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's like
It's
Home
really
Depot.
cool.
Nice.
Right. Or press one for
Like Home
English.
Depot.
You go to Home Depot and it's like there's Spanish everywhere, and it's like there's a little bit of English here.
Yeah, I like that though. It keeps
Bastards.
it preserves the language, which is pretty cool.
You want to keep the culture there too.
Absolutely.
It is really cool.
It's good to keep tradition there, and like where all the natives are, you want to keep that language, because that's
And the language is ancient. It's really old language. Which is
Yeah,
pretty cool.
kind of like
Mad respect.
Celtic.
very
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah. I mean, I think history is great, which is, even with music. I mean, when you write, you write about something from the past. Or you can even write about history, and it sounds good. Look at Iron Maiden. Think about Iron Maiden. All right. Think about it. Go ahead. Give me a song that they talked about, even whether it be folklore or
The Albatross.
Okay, there's one. Give me another one. See, I'm making you think.
Alexander
now,
the
huh?
Great.
See, now I'm making you think.
Honestly, I'm not actually an Iron Maiden fan, so
you're not?
I couldn't tell you a single song about Iron Maiden. Like I don't know anything about
You
that
should.
band.
You've got homework now.
I
Well, you don't
literally
have
know
to be, You don't have
nothing.
to be a fan, but I mean,
No, I
just-
literally know nothing about Iron Maiden.
Really?
Like zero.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I mean I know what his voice sounds like when he's singing, and that's about it. I don't know any of the songs.
I mean, like the Flight of Icarus was my main thing. To talk about folklore and just history. You know, well, it's not history. It's actually kind of like you know the
Mythical.
the mythical thing. But it's just great. I mean, just to have that. So I, you know. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, Kato.
You're good.
We're all just really intrigued.
I just want to hear her say like, you are a complete douchebag and you should like, you know, put your head in the freaking toilet and make it sound like really, really cool, you know?
Ti'n edrych fel douchebag ac ti'n put eich pen yn y toilet. Derek has an amazing party trick, which I've
What
taught
is
him.
that?
You can say the longest train station.
Oh my god, the longest train
So
station.
there's a train station in
It is. It's
yeah,
like
you've heard
hugely,
this,
it's
right?
on the Book of World Records.
So it's kind
it's
of
a long
located
word, yeah.
between about 6 or 7 towns, and they couldn't agree on which town was going to own the train station, so they named it after every single town. So it's the longest train station name in the world, and this guy.
It is the longest train
Should I
station.
say it? Should I whisper it
It's
to you?
like
and then you-
supercalifragilistic.
Let me see.
No.
Wait, let me see if I
exactly
can
like
do it.
that.
Oh, okay.
Llanfair, Porthgwyngyll, Golgedrych, Llandrofol, Llantysilio, go.
Oh shit! You did it!
That's rad.
Da iawn, Derek, da iawn.
Nailed it.
Next song title. That would slay.
That's by DK0. That's coming out on our next album.
Gotta do some.
All I know is 9999. That's actually a soundbite on the computer.
Oh my gosh.
So what brought you here? I mean, what
You had to ask,
I
didn't
did,
you?
I
God
did.
damn.
Love,
See,
baby,
now
love.
I
She
know
was
I was
in
in a
love
twisted
with a
impulse
man.
sometime.
She came over here for the day.
Yes, it's true.
Well, I came over here and I met this douchebag, and then that was it.
Not
No,
this
not
guy.
me, not me.
Another Californian. Though.
Another one.
Yeah. No, it was love. I came over. I was married for a long time. But yeah, I moved over here, fell in love, and it wasn't the right guy. But we gave it a good run of 10 years. And yeah, we're no longer together, and I had to write a really angry album about it.
Yeah, we met right as she was leaving that relationship.
Our entire
I was
first
leaving
album was about
mine, so-
divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's perfect fuel. Yeah. Yeah.
See, that stuff.
It's a cool venture.
Hey, I've done that. I did the album that was on the KLOS thing. There was a song called 28 Seconds that I wrote, and it was kind of about my ex-wife at the time because I was so miserable, and it just portrayed everything because I was just screaming.
Isn't it amazing to take those
Because I
horrible
played drums
experiences
and sang it at the same time.
and turn it into lyrical fuel, though?
Yeah.
Like, you can do something really awesome with it and maybe profit off of it as well at some
Yeah,
point. So
it's
it's
Well, not,
Yeah, exactly.
well, not only that, it's
not making money off
actually
your ass.
it's actually a relief.
Seriously.
You know, I mean, I've been to 2
relief, yeah.
divorces, so I mean, there's.
So you know.
I know.
Yeah.
And then being a musician, then writing songs. So the only songs I've ever written were either about the divorces or something that wasn't pertinent to my life. But they were angry. It was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But when I did it, man, I felt so much better. It was like, oh no, I put
Absolutely.
everything right
Yeah.
here. And then when we performed the song live, I was just like, man, when I'm just laying it down on the skins, it was just like, yes.
Actually,
All right.
I feel is about a specific moment during my marriage, very early on, where I told him I wanted to pursue music, and he was like, "You can't sing. You're terrible. Like, you sound tone deaf, and you shouldn't pursue this," and just crushed my dreams about that. So when we started writing, I'm like, I'm gonna write a song about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Because I used
I mean, you
that.
sound, your
Thank
voice
you.
is amazing.
Right.
So I use that fuel, and I use that moment during that horrible moment in my marriage, and I'm just like, I'm gonna write a song about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of always had that idea, you know,
Absolutely.
from that moment. You're
yeah.
It's like, you know, taking that as fuel, like you said.
Yeah.
See, I can't sing. I mean, I can write, but I can't sing.
Scream?
You don't want to hear me sing. You know, I have a decent voice for the radio, and I got that carried on, but you don't want to hear me sing. You're like, oh my God, Otsko here, Otsko here's me. Otsko, tell him how well I can sing.
Level 1 to 10.
You can't sing? She says you can't sing.
You can't sing.
Oh, poor Ziggy.
I can sing as well as she drives.
Ziggy.
Snap. Hey.
Oh, man.
No smack on the edge.
Man. Slurs are flying. See, slurs are flying.
See, that's some of the things you get away with after 8 years of being in love.
Yeah.
I love you, honey.
My Asian work drives very well.
She gave me the finger.
You tell him.
Yeah.
You tell him.
It's so funny because with Otsko being as quiet and reserved as she is, you've met her. We were riding down the freeway, and she's on the back of the bike, and we're splitting lanes, and this guy cuts us off, and so I'm like, okay, I get on the brakes, and I pass him. I look in the rearview mirror, because I'm looking, because you're always drawn to the person that did something stupid. When you You always want to look at. So I look in the rearview mirror like, what this guy's doing, and all I see is Otsko's finger just like point it right at That's my girl.
That's awesome.
That's my girl.
Oh gosh. There's nothing worse than that. But you are who you hang out with, right?
Right.
Just kidding. That's partially true. It radiates off.
Well, speaking of who you hang out with, I'm telling you right now, there's only 2 people that can share one chair.
I know, right?
They're sitting on one chair.
I can say our booties are small. We have no booty. The booty split.
Booty split.
Oh my goodness.
Why is that not a song title?
New single with DK0.
Booty split.
It sounds like banana split. Boot split. Twin problems.
So we have the show tomorrow, and then you have the show on Wednesday, which is where?
That's the other door.
Tomorrow, the other door, and then
The other door where? Where?
That's West Hollywood.
Oh, North Hollywood, actually.
North
North
Hollywood, sorry.
Hollywood.
Sorry, North Hollywood.
Okay.
It's all good.
That's off of Lancashire.
That's Halloween night, though.
Right.
So.
Yeah, Halloween night.
That's Wednesday.
Lancashire, yeah. And then after that,
Yeah.
it'll be at the Sage, November 1st.
We just played there. We just played there on Friday.
Is that a
No
cool
way.
venue?
Let us know what it's like, because we never played there before.
It's cool, but the only thing that sucked is the Dodger game was going on. No, it was the one with 18 innings.
Oh, the epic one that just happened.
Yeah. And it was like had all the Dodger fans were in there, but then there was a few in there, but so the crowd was about half in here and half in there, but it was like waiting for the damn game to end. I'm like,
hello.
Just end it and kill the Dodgers already.
Yeah.
Come on, it's supposed to be 11 innings. Stop.
But it's a cool place. It's in Whittier. It's kind of a little bit in the ghetto, but other than that, it's a pretty cool place. The guy that ran sound there was really good. I don't know if it's going to be the same guy, but yeah, no, it's a cool place.
That's
It was
awesome.
fun.
Nice.
Yeah, we're looking
Cool.
forward to it. It's going to be after Halloween, so people will still be dressing up.
Nice.
It's like $5 off, I think, if you wear a costume. So
Yeah.
yeah, guys, wear your costumes.
Cool.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, and then of course tomorrow it's free.
Absolutely.
And it's Taco Tuesday. So.
Taco Tuesday.
I don't know if tacos
Does
are
that
free.
mean tacos are free?
No.
Dang.
And they're not Portland tacos.
Yeah,
You
they're
just
not
want to
vegan.
make sure you know they're not Portland tacos.
They got real meat.
This is carne asada. You're in Southern California.
Carne
Okay?
asada.
We got the Mexicans cooking this shit up, man. Just want to let you know. There's no Mexican vegans. I have not yet met a Mexican vegan. When I do, I'm telling you, I'm going to slap them.
I know some
Mexican.
some hairy leg Mexican vegans.
I'm sure.
I'm sure
they're all
you
hairy.
do.
Be like a-
I said I haven't met him, but see, I don't go to your drum circles,
Frida
man. So
Kahlo.
I'm just saying.
Hetty.
Oh, that's not at the drum circles.
I don't want to know
There's hairy legs involved.
where we are going to stop
And
at
hairy
that.
other parts.
I don't even know what other kind of circles you got going on, man.
Yeah.
So, do you want to know how we got the name of JJ?
All right,
Yes,
tell us the
we'd love to
story.
know this.
Because the first thing that he, JJ walks in and Derek and Kato are standing here and he introduced himself and he says, "Yeah, my name's Derek. My name's JJ."
No, I said
No,
the
he
whole
said I'm
name.
the big white vagina.
Oh, the big white vagina. That's what I'm sorry. I'm the great white vagina.
Yeah, great white vagina.
Derek
Yeah,
about
Kit gave me
fell.
that name.
He wasn't even sitting down. He almost fell out of his chair.
Usually Zig tells people what my name is before, so like they know I'm gonna say that.
I just
So funny.
I just say with JJ, it's just easier. You know what I mean?
We just met another person named
We actually know
JJ
two
at
Vajayjays
Wasteland
now.
Weekend. Yeah. But I mean, he dresses up like
He's
a
a drag
girl
queen,
and actually,
so,
you know,
yeah.
has sex with
Okay,
dudes.
well,
So you know.
I don't.
Yeah, so
I don't want to know.
I know it's a little
No.
different, but
That's kind of Scott's thing, not mine.
No. No. That's the farthest thing from that. Believe that.
I'm just saying.
Jesus.
I just met that person, so when you were like, "I'm a JJ," I'm like, "Oh man, here it goes, here it goes."
Are you guys gonna keep going? 'Cause I gotta bail.
I think,
No.
I think we're done here.
I
at
think,
10:30.
I think we're going to shut it down.
Jackie's gonna-
Scott's like, "Oh, no,
My
you're going
stomach's
to keep on
growling
going."
Well, I don't know how late you're gonna
I'm
go.
going to turn
but-
into a pumpkin.
We still have
Well, no, I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna go all the way back down to Menifee and then
No, I
be
know- I
back
know
up
you do.
here
I know you
by
do.
about 7 in the morning.
Okay.
we still have
Fun.
132 minutes.
Yeah.
Dude, as far as I'm concerned, we have another 6-7 hours. I mean, I can do
Yeah,
that.
I can queue up another.
See,
See,
24
the
hours.
thing is, I own my own business. If I don't feel like opening up tomorrow, I don't have
Just
to.
don't. Yeah.
I just don't have
Nice.
to. You know. But you know, thanks for coming in, DK.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having us.
Thanks for
man.
having us,
Thanks,
yeah.
It was
Zig.
it was an awesome show, and it's always a pleasure having my little cousins from Dianthus.
Yeah, thank you, Dianthus.
I'm glad. I'm glad to drug you guys on, but I think we're gonna have to do an R-rated show.
Let's do this.
Have you guys on the air because I think we really pushed the
I
envelope.
think there's a lot of things we can talk
Yeah.
about.
Let's
go.
Yeah, seriously, that you guys can play that one.
But
yeah,
you
make
know,
it happen.
but don't forget, well, first off, we got to make sure that there's a for Saskia,
Saskia.
Saskia.
Saskia. Sounds Russian.
Yeah, she sent another message too, like
Saskia.
earlier on, that she's hoping to be able to make it to California next summer to see one of the Dianthus
Oh
shows.
wow!
Yeah.
You know what? I'll tell you what, Saskia. If you're still awake, but even if you're not, Saskia, you can always pull up the YouTube page later. If you do come out to California, if you touch base with the girls and tell them a date that you're coming out, I will make sure that we do a show so that way you can come out with the girls, and then we'll have Saskia on the air also. I think that'd be awesome. Wouldn't that be bitchin'?
That would be so cool. Has that
You know?
ever happened
No.
before? Like when you have a fan in the band?
No,
too?
I haven't. Never. I think that'd be a great first timer. So if she wanted to do that, I think that would be a great thing.
Yeah.
You
Have
know?
all your questions prepared, Saskia. Now
You
she's
know,
scared now.
I was-
I'm just kidding. It'll be fun.
it would be fun.
And we'll have some lumpia for you too.
And hopefully you guys do a tour, then we can have you guys on there too. So she goes and sees both bands,
yeah.
and then she comes out. Wow, what a treat would that be? I mean, that would make her like life. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool. Come on, Saskia.
Because she's young. I mean, and I remember seeing a lot of bands when I met a lot of bands when I was younger. It was just like, wow, and it's still in my head, and it's something you can never forget. I mean, a picture can burn, it could fade, it could get thrown away, but a memory can never. The memory's going to stay with you for a lifetime, until you are gone, right? So, anyways, but I hope to see everybody out there at the venue tomorrow in Grand Terrace. All right. And make sure they're early. And I'll tell you what, anybody that do they serve alcohol there?
I think they do.
As far as I know.
They do.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what.
I hope so.
The first,
I'd be like,
I'm pretty sure.
can't make it.
well, because we've been to places where
Legacy room.
yeah, and
Oh,
it's beer. But I'll tell you what. The first 10 people that walk up to me and say, "Yeah, I heard your show last night with DK0 and Dianthus that show up at the venue tomorrow, I will buy you a beer."
That's
right.
really nice of you.
That works for me.
Can I be one of those people?
Can I be?
I'm already buying you guys a beer. That's a done deal. I got you covered. Okay. I might even bring a little ball some special
something.
before you guys go on stage. Right?
A little something.
I'm just that way. But thanks again for coming in. Rowena. Thank you, sweetheart, for the you and the girls for bringing Lupia.
Yes, thank you.
Man,
Thanks, Mom.
you have no idea how, man, my taste buds are so just like happy right now. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Great, your fans. We see a lot of people that have tuned in, and it's great. Even if you're too shy to make a comment or call in or whatever. But oh, actually, speaking of calling in, we do have a new. It was new tonight. I just didn't reveal it tonight because I don't want no mistakes happening because Vijay was on the board. I'm gonna wait till Lena comes in.
I don't know what the number is, but we have a phone.
I have it. I have it. But I just didn't want to play with it tonight because I didn't want nothing screwing up. When right now everything went smooth with not only one band but two bands coming in, so everything went just exactly as planned. So love you girls, and it was very nice meeting you, Derek and Kato.
Thank you for having us.
And
Thank you.
we are definitely going to plan that next show, and I will see you guys tomorrow night. Huh?
Woo!
Sweet.
All right.
Yes.
So thanks for tuning in again. Once again, the Zig Zone, and next Monday is going to be the
Drum Clinic.
That's right. So if you're into drums and you're into music, then we'll make sure you view it next Monday. We'll see you guys later on the Zig Zone. Good night.
See ya.